We're Small and Mighty, and we're back!
Yeah!
It's been some time.
It has.
Feels like a million years. Yeah. But we're back and we're going on an adventure, goddammit.
Wow.
Hell yeah.
Life stuff be damned. We're all here. Nearly lost Ryan, but you made it.
Nice.
No one's allowed to leave their chairs until we're done. Nothing
Please.
can happen to us now. I've locked all your houses and your doors. No, good. We're all here. Lovely. How are we all doing? You all excited to play?
Yeah.
Very
good.
I like it.
Good. I'm excited to try and remember where the hell we got to and what the hell's happening. So that'll be fun. But as always, our plan is to play for about 2-3 hours with a short break about an hour in. But this is D&D, this is improv, so who the hell knows if we'll achieve that? So don't hold us too tightly to anything.
Don't hold us too tightly in general. Ask for.
You can hold us tightly, just not lock us
down.
down to specific timings. Cool. So I'm not going to do recap questions this time, just because it's been.
Will.
Go on then.
You will.
No,
or you're will.
I will.
Oh.
I am Will.
No, I understand, Will, but I've now given you the mantle, please. So go on.
Okay,
ask some questions.
Volunteer.
What is D&D?
Hi. You're on
Okay.
Anybody?
I'll go. D&D is an immersive role-playing game.
Wow.
Right. No, I'm not going to do questions. I'm instead going to do more of just a general recap of where things are. If you guys wanted to chip in at any point, jump up. But I think just for the sake of ease, let's do a cap of sort of where we are currently and how we got here. So, in a couple of minutes, we are going to pick up with you guys all waking up after having various qualities of night's sleep, as your minds were drawn back to some past memories of yours. We saw the history of Tali, what the incident was for Pebble, and so on and so forth. But more in the wider plot, you currently find yourselves in Moorgrave Manor, Academy for the Wayward Arcanists, a location which has been secreted away within the outskirts of the city of Dalbridge. It was hidden as a central asylum, essentially, for curing magic, but turns out it's actually a secret repository of training magicians. You came here because of a curse put upon Pebble, vaguely by Christina's great aunt. And you found out the reason for all of that was because there is some great prophecy called Archmedoon that you have some part to play in. Mm-hmm. This relates to a series of items that you have been told about called the Genesis Relics. 7 powerful artifacts that, when brought together, can grant a wish. Christina, you found out that your amulet is in fact one of these. And its true name is Daughter of the Hierophant Oasis, or Dotho for short. You are also aware that another one of these relics is held by a separate group of heroes or adventurers, if you would call them that you have been made aware of as part of this academy. The Squad of Misfits, who strike a somewhat similar, kind of like silhouette to Small and Mighty. Although on closer inspection they are fairly different, but you haven't had a chance to properly interact with them yet, apart from hearing a very loudmouth leader of theirs known as Hamish Dawncaster, or nicknamed as Baron, who sounds very similar to a good member of our own party.
Yeah.
But you came to Moorgrave Manor at the end of the longest adventuring day of your lives. We started with you delivering a troll, then going back, finding your mentor and the fatherly figure of your group, Burchard, had been kidnapped by the Messers. The pub was on fire. You chased an agent called the Crow, found a secret hideout. You raided that, found out the Crow was actually the supposed friend of yours, Jennifer Adler. You captured... what's his name? Brain's gone. What was his name? Flint.
Yeah.
No,
Flint. Splint. You captured Splint, who is sort of a Messer boss you kind of vaguely seen around. You started questioning him. Turned out he was a bit of had no loyalties really to the Messers and started just divulging information very quickly to you. But then suddenly was cut short as he seemed to have gone brain dead.
Mm-hmm.
You found that this was with the Messers. They seemed to have this network of strange slugs or leeches inside the heads, which are connecting them, allowing them to just communicate almost like this kind of like psychonic network. As you found in a Messer agent you interrogated, you found it on with Splint, who had this kind of strange alien-looking eye. And it's all related to a disease called the Grey Mark, which you have heard of various places on. You know that people who interact with a material substance called Ica get it. So you had Dimitri, someone from early in the campaign you met, who had these kind of grey arms and had early onset dementia and seemed to be twice the age he should be. You saw it on some of the Messer agents who had this kind of like patina kind of pattern of it across their faces. And then you have Tali very recently found there's a slight speck of it on Bichard that turned up since he was captured.
Oh no!
So you are in the market for a cure to that, as it were. Although, if I remember correctly, you have not told him about that as of yet.
No.
I think the only other big thing going on in the background, really, at the moment, is you sold a shit ton of cargo that you kind of liberated from the Messers. And it going into kind of three different pockets. There was repairing the pub, because after its damages, a lot of it went to, helping the poor and stuff around Dowbridge and Lowbank. And then another pocket of it has gone towards improving the pub, which is something we'll discuss as and when you arrive at the pub and how you want to use that. Am I missing anything important that's happened?
That's vampire.
Chad is a vampire, yes, that is true.
Him, right? We're going to cure him.
Tali wants to cure Chad, that is true. Chad, I think, is undecided as of now.
Well, Chad's still riding high on the fact that he's discovered that he's immortal.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Understandably so.
It's pretty good.
But that does remind me of one extra thing. So, for the longest time, Tali had been aware that Chad, in his sleep, on the nights in which he is fed that day, says a strange phrase in a language she did not understand. And it just so happened that last night you were able to cast a spell that you recently got called Tongues, which allowed you to understand it. And it was a phrase that coincidentally you had heard maybe an hour or two earlier, as it was the exact phrasing of the prophecy of Arkmadoon.
Mm-hmm. And it was lovely and positive and beautiful.
Lovely and positive and happy and nothing possibly wrong. Which I will... No, not that one.
I think I have it.
It was in our Discord. I always want to read it out just to reset the scene.
Yeah, it's in... I
above
think,
the photo.
yeah, it is. It is.
In the general. Yeah.
In the general.
General?
One sec.
I found it.
Go on, then,
you
read it.
I have. Oh, okay.
Someone else read it, whoever's got there first, because I
don't
can't
mind.
find it.
Go for it, Sarah.
Oh,
Go on, Sarah.
Oh, I have to go find it again now. It's fine. Arkmadoon, yes. At the end will only be nothing. Bolsh will have devoured it all. When 7 bells have rung and Queen declares war, Death's herald returns. Then finally, nothing.
Lovely and pleasant.
High spirits.
So that is the prophecy of Arkmadoon, and yes, the thing that Chad has been saying in his sleep on the nights when he feeds.
Oh, sorry, when Queen declares war. When
Queen declares war.
When the
band
popular,
Queen
when
declares
the popular
war.
band Queen come and declare war. Excellent.
Yes.
When they somehow cross the multiverse into this campaign
Good.
and then declare war. Yes.
Yeah. I'm gonna be like, I want to break free.
That's a good approach, right? Because it also says when 7 bells have rung. So if we just take away all the bells,
Yes.
Yeah. It's true.
Yeah.
problem solved.
Ring
Yeah.
them if they don't
Do it a
exist.
Bug's Life style.
Yeah.
The last leaf can't fall if it's stuck to the tree.
what will classically happen in trying to prevent the prophecy, you then cause the prophecy, because you'll be collecting up bells and you'll get the 7 and they'll ring
We'll
together.
drop
You're
them
like,
all, yeah.
oh no!
Yes.
Um, If we travel to another universe and find the Band Queen and kill them, they can't declare war. Oh no, they've declared war because we're trying to kill them. Oh no.
Harley's has already learnt this lesson. With yes, bros, I'm not doing that again.
Self-fulfilling prophecies.
Stay away from my friend. You have a friend? Oh no.
Oh, we have a friend.
Oh shit.
Ah, interesting. So yes, that is it. So the last thing to say is, from what I understand, could have my notes. Brusk, you have the inspiration token, which you may use as you want.
Big jewel.
Oh,
Yeah, I can't remember if it came from that or the previous session, but
no, I think
it's
we all
fine.
had our dreams. Like we had, we had sort of like flashbacky, dreamy thing. last
Yes.
time.
No, yeah,
I think it wasn't
exactly.
that.
Okay, there you go.
And it was very inspiring and nice.
But yeah, you have the inspiration token.
I roll to collect all the bells.
Nailed it.
Roll me.
Actual
That will
2016,
be.
right?
Yeah. That's shit.
No,
Why didn't I think of this?
So anyway, you wake up in your probably these beds you are in now. Oh, Tali, I think you're on the floor maybe because.
Probably.
Oh no! I specifically remember made a point of Chad carrying a bed across one dorm to another,
Yeah.
so you're fine.
Yeah.
The beds you find yourself in are probably some of the comfiest you've been in for a long time. You know, the Five Fellows is a nice and quaint enough place, but the accommodation has been lacking. So to be in these places, this is you are in a very well-to-do manor house. This is clearly being incredibly well kept. You are on some of the finest sheets and the fluffiest duvets and pillows that you have had. Some of you maybe even ever. Chad, this is probably reminiscent of being at home. Maybe not quite as good as what you've used to from home.
This is adequate.
Yes. I think Brass, we remember saying that Brass fell asleep in a chair somewhere, didn't actually go
Yeah,
to
I was
bed.
just curled up
Yes,
near the fire.
indeed.
Yes. But yes, you awaken. And you are in these kind of dormitory areas, so you have almost little rooms, but then it opens up into a hallway, and there is kind of what must be a study area for reading and stuff, which is where Brask is currently, that you can convene as you come to.
Was the study where we were talking to the two women the previous day?
No, so you are currently on the upper floor. Yesterday, you were on the ground floor, and there was a sitting room, a main sitting room.
Okay, yeah.
That's where you spoke to Yusra Morgrave and Errol for Christmas.
Lovely.
So Brask he's gonna sit up, and immediately his stomach's gonna rumble. So can I smell around if there's any food wafting on the breeze?
You absolutely can. Roll me a perception check.
Use the hero token.
Hero token.
Natural 20.
You indeed can smell food. You smell succulent cooked meats, and all sorts of things going on, and you can even hear the clinking of, not that you probably understand it, but the clinking of plates and cutlery being laid out. And somewhere in the house there is a breakfast spread being laid out. And as you all kind of emerge into this kind of the corridor and the study area, the bust of the steward, who you've spoken to before, goes, good morning, everyone. I am delighted to inform you all that breakfast should be ready in about 5 or 10 minutes. So if you still make your way down to the dining room, there will be a lovely spread set up for all of you.
Very good. Thank you.
Brask is gonna go up to the steward and just give the most sincere thank you.
Oh,
He's so hungry.
You go up to this completely,
Thank you.
expressionless, emotionless, a marble statue of this very fine, elvish gentleman. You can see the pointed ears, has this kind of thin moustache kind of obviously in there, and a slicked back hairstyle. And obviously there's an expressionless face apart from what must be a wry smile. And it's you are genuinely welcome, Master Brask.
oh, that's cute.
I'll just turn back to the group and be like, ah.
Yeah. Coming.
I think he's trying to communicate.
We'll go get breakfast. Yeah, it's a good.
Sorry.
I've gone primal because I can smell meat.
Before Tali goes down for breakfast, is there a bunch? You said there's a library, a little study room, right?
Yes, so this is a little study area.
Are there books here?
There'll probably be a few sort of books. This isn't that, like, you are aware, like when you were in the city room, there was like walls full of bookcases. And else, I don't know if we covered it or not, but elsewhere in the house there is also a proper library as well. Here there's probably a few smattering of books, but it isn't like a bookcase or like a whole library going on here.
So it's just like books sort of placed around.
Yes,
That's fine.
yeah.
That's fine. Anything interesting?
Roll me an investigation check.
Oh. A 7.
7.
Wow. Yeah.
It seems to be on like certain magical theorems about like how to control magic and like the proper like hand placement to do certain types of illusion magic and things like that. But for you, Tali, it's a little, it's quite tedious because for you, magic's fairly inherent. Actually, quite a lot of you in this group of magic's fairly inherent. You've not had to study magic. Obviously, I know Christina, you have the intent to study magic to learn it more, but up until this point, it's been fairly inherent to you. So for you in particular, Tali, trying to understand the particular like hand placements and like it's got things like diagrams on the positioning of the tongue to use certain magical phrases to do. Yeah, it's not a particularly interesting book.
If they're sort of sporadically around the room, like I would just sort of like she'll just collect them and put them on like a side, like all stacked up.
Very nice.
You know.
Just tidy up a little bit. Yeah, it looks like someone, maybe like the Squad of Misfits at some point, maybe have been in here and they've been like reading some books, potentially, or past students even. But nothing here jumps out to any of your interests in particular, Tali.
While Tali's doing that, Chad's gonna go up to Tali and be like, did you sleep well? I hope I didn't snore.
Flashbacks to you screaming, head twisted, climbing up the walls. I think how we described it.
Yeah.
I
feel great.
Yeah, that's. I'm glad you feel good.
Good. By the way, I'm gonna go and work out before breakfast. Yeah, I'll see you guys. See you guys there.
Do you remember waking up at all in the night or anything? Just.
I mean, I drank a fair bit before bed. I think I woke up needing the latrine at one point, but you know, sometimes you're so comfy that you just decide not to get up and go, and just sort of rolled over and went back to bed. And yeah, other than that, no, I'm fine.
Oh, okay.
Did you?
No, not. Well, I don't sleep. Tali doesn't sleep heavily anyway. So
Right.
yeah, just you just were saying some things in your sleep. So.
Oh, anything good?
No, I mean we might want to just chat about it later.
Okay.
After breakfast, let's get set up for the day. I think we have to meet the other people here.
Yes, absolutely. I agree. I said I'm gonna go. It looked like there was that yard was gonna be a good place to go and do some calisthenics. So yeah. Okay. I'll catch you all later. And
dinner will be like 10 minutes. Of breakfast will be okay. Bye. It'll be like 10 minutes.
I think he's gonna take off his shirt right there and then and walk off to the.
10 minutes.
Calisthenics.
Calisthenics. Oh goodness.
His own personal workout program. Yeah.
yeah. I invented it. Yeah. Yeah, it's for when you don't have any of your standard equipment. It's for when your servants are away and they haven't given you any of your equipment set up. You can just still do some calisthenics yourself.
Good.
So Chad goes off, walks ahead of you, heads downstairs to go and find that the gardens where you previously saw the Squad of Misfits sparring.
And that's deliberately because he knows that that's a very visible area. Where he can be seen. So, yeah.
Of course it is. No, makes a lot of sense. That is exactly what Chad would do. The rest of you, anything else you want to do before you head down for breakfast?
No, just vibe.
Just vibe. Yeah. How's Pebble feeling this morning? Because I think of all the people, Pebble probably had the most horrendous
Traumatizing
dream.
experience.
Yeah.
Just vibing, cold sweat, man. I mean,
Absolute vibes.
sorry, my microphone is falling
Just
apart.
vibing, rocking back and forth, hugging my
Yeah.
knees. You know how it is.
Yeah, no, Pebble, I imagine Pebble is a bit shook, but that doesn't exclude the fact that this was, I mean, we didn't imply last session that this was like a revelation to him, right? He knew what happened.
Oh yeah, no, nothing happened to any of you was a revelation.
So
You
it's
were.
not-
What was more happening was like you guys were dreaming about memories, and as an audience, you had a flashback moment. Is
Yeah.
essentially what happened. So no, you know
Because
exactly what happened. You've always known what's happened.
He dreads this memory, but he can't shake it away, obviously.
Yeah.
He's had these, flashbacks earlier. So he wants to play as if he's used to it, or well, I mean, he doesn't want to disclose it to the rest of the party. It's just there, a bit quieter than usual, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Do we remember the dreams?
Yes, you do.
Okay.
Yeah, all of you, like, for whatever reason, your minds are drawn back to a historic moment for you all.
Mhm.
And it might be a case that the actual dreams you had isn't like one-to-one to what we, as an audience, saw, but something made you think back on your past.
Mm.
Entirely will probably go to both. I guess we have Christina and Pebble and just good morning. How are you both today?
Fine, it's good.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
convinced.
You sleep okay?
I mean, I would, with Tali, Pebble has like, Pebble can open with Tali and with Christina as well. Like, I just had like a rough night. That's all. Like, yeah,
Did you have a nightmare?
yeah. In a way.
Tali just like realizes that she didn't do something, and she just like reaches in her pocket and like pulls out like a dream catcher and just like pushes it, like just like thrusts it upon you.
Oh,
Just take this. Okay, don't lose that, and just put it when
Okay.
you sleep above your bed. I'm sorry. Tali's
Cool.
sorry.
no, it's fine. Thank you.
Yesterday. And gives one to Christina as well. And you realize these are probably the ones from the pub. They look like the same one.
Oh, neat.
She's just collected and put them in.
Cool.
And if Brass gets there, Brass will get one.
I liked my dream. I'm good. Thank
No,
you.
this will give you good dreams. It will keep the dreams being good.
So,
Oh. Okay.
You have more good dreams.
so did
Awesome.
everyone have a dream then? Pebble says, like confused. Like, so did we all have a dream?
Tali did.
Oh, weird. I guess
Dreams are good. It's a good thing that you.
I guess.
As you're sort of like saying this out loud, you hear the steward speaks up like, that is actually not uncommon, especially for newcomers. There is, due to the magical nature of this manor and the disguises, it seems to promote dreams commonly, especially in those of magical potential. It's your body usually gets used to it over a day or two, and they become less potent or prominent.
Okay.
But nothing to worry about.
I mean,
Good to know.
this place promotes dreams.
You'd have to speak to the madame for any specifics. I just know that those who stay here tend to have dreams, especially their first sort of couple of nights.
Okay.
Well, so I'm told. I am incapable of such myself. Says the statue.
Yeah. Just in case we hadn't realised that.
Yeah.
I guess you don't sleep.
There's a weird pause and like, maybe once upon a time, but not no.
Okay. Are you tired? No, we're not gonna go that way. No.
Incredibly so, but the work continues.
Good.
He doesn't say that.
Oh God!
Jesus. Okay.
My labours never end.
Wow.
God. The
In the-
existential eldritch horror of being a statue man.
Yep.
In the slightly awkward silence after that comment, we'd all just stand there, and then again, Brask's stomach just goes.
It's okay. Let's
Okay.
move. Let's
I
go to
can do
the.
it,
Let's
Becky.
go for breakfast. Let's go.
Roll an intimidation check.
What? For the stomach?
12.
12.
Average.
The steward's like, if I wasn't mistaken, I thought there'd be a bear in here. But you best hurry down to the breakfast table. It seems you are in dire need.
Ali ushers everyone out.
Yeah.
You have bear. Yum.
Oh.
That's not what you meant.
And as he says this, almost as if it's been synchronized, you hear a ringing of a bell coming from downstairs somewhere.
That's the first of the 7 vents. No, sorry.
Dun dun dun! 7 breakfasts remain. You start making way downstairs. So yes, you do. Chad, obviously you set off first, so you walk through the house topless as you descend from the upper floor down this grand staircase into the lower level.
Walking in that way that the guys do when they got slightly developed lats and sort of walking like that.
Yeah. You descend this like large stone staircase and then kind of turn back on yourself towards the sitting room, which is where you saw. You assume there might be other exits and entrances, but you did see a glass doors that led out into a patio and then the gardens. So you kind of walk into the sitting room like this, and as you do, you can see kind of sat draped over a chair, reading a book and drinking some sort of drink, like a hot tea or something. You see the tall Madame Morgrave, who just an eye looks up at you. There's a and then just down at her book again. The barest acknowledgement. Yeah, go for it.
Just to see if that's sort of of approval. That is a 20, not a natural 20, but that is a 20.
You can.
There's also how Chad interprets it as well. Whether it's
I will tell you what actually is happening. You tell me how Chad interprets this.
Yeah.
She interprets it as, oh, good, another one.
Chad's gonna be like, oh, good, another one.
And as you kind of realize that, you turn your gaze towards the garden. You notice the doors are open, and out in the gardens, currently running laps around the gardens, is a blonde-haired young man, topless as well, headband on, just running laps around the garden. As you see, Hamish is begun his morning workout routine as well.
Is immediately gonna try and do a Captain America Winter Soldier, and he's gonna try and start lapping this guy.
Yes, amazing.
Take off in the same direction as him.
Yes, yeah, of course. Do you just start immediately, or are you waiting to kind of catch up with him and leave at the same time, and then overtake him later?
Chad's gonna wait until he's as far away as he can be.
Okay.
So that he can try and run all the way around.
Yeah. Okay, so you wait till he's at the point on the other side of the field, and then you start running into it. You do see, even though the gardens are quite big, so you're quite far away from him, but you do see the head turn, and he clearly has clocked you as you have entered the arena, let's call it from now on.
It's definitely a thing that if he's sort of doing proper laps, he's probably pacing himself really well. Chad is immediately going to be sprinting.
I mean, of course this is going to ask for an athletics check.
Obviously. Which is an unnatural 21.
Amazing. Amazing. So yes, as very much as you said, he was sort of pacing himself, trying to he's clearly trying to see either how many laps of the garden he can do, or just distance maybe, or time. You, however, just start sprint. And you do very quickly, you do catch up to him as he is pacing, as you kind of just blast your way around the garden and start to line up.
This is alright.
As you kind of come within earshot of him, he's like, "Aha! A fellow jogger, I see. Good morning to you."
Chance is just gonna on your left, just not gonna acknowledge him.
As you don't acknowledge him and start to run past him, this is where he'll make an athletics check.
Fair enough.
Excellent.
22.
Oh,
Oh!
So you blank him and you blast past him, just like, and you hear a, huh, oh, I see then. And you just start to hear him pick up the pace. And as you're like, ha ha ha, you watch as he comes blasting past, like, not blasting, but he does, it almost seems like, intentionally just a little bit faster than you.
Yeah.
And he comes up like, maybe you didn't hear me, I said good morning.
oh god, this is horrible. I'm in pain now.
Yeah. I don't normally run. Running's terrible for first thing in the morning. Chad's just gonna stop and get down and start doing some push-ups.
Wow. This is incredible.
Yeah.
Just because if you're going for like a bolt dead stop, please roll me a dexterity saving throw to see how gracefully you go from
Running along
sprinting.
and then
Yeah.
just tip of the toe, straight down.
10.
10, okay. In your head, you're like, well, I'm not running anymore, so you just put your feet down. It is like there is a stumble, and you kind of hit the floor, and you're like, right, good, that's 5 hit for push-ups, and then you just stop.
I know I was running, I want to do. And Chad's gonna try and do the Batman Begins thing, where he just sort of falls down into the push-up.
Amazing. Seeing you do this, you watch as Hamish sort of does he doesn't do what you do, which is bolt stop. He kind of runs, does a little loop, slows down, and comes back round to you. It's like, oh, I see, push-ups it is then, and he'll drop to the floor as well.
Yes.
I'll have another athletics check out of you, please.
Absolutely. 18.
20.
Oh,
No.
these are two strong boys.
It's almost like I almost mirrored your stat block. So
Does he
you're
also
doing
have a +10 to athletics?
He does also have a +10 to
Excellent.
athletics.
+10.
Yeah, both Chad and Hamish have +10 to
I don't
athletics.
even want to know.
Yeah.
So you start doing push-ups, and it's not that he for you and him, it will take a long time for you to get worn out. That's not the problem here. It's not like he's beating you. But what happens is you start doing push-ups, and you're like that, and you watch as he's doing push-ups, but he's doing the thing where he jumps up and claps.
Oh my god.
Yep. Chad is going to, in response to him seeing him do that, he's going to go to one-arm push-ups.
I'll have you roll me one last athletics check.
Excellent. Cheap trick that anyone can do. That's a 13.
Ooh. As you start doing the one-arm push-up, and it's like, you watch as he does the clap, like, okay then. And he'll do the same thing. And you're doing the push-ups together as he rolled a 23.
No.
And what's happening again? It's not like, Chad, you are incapable of doing these kind of motions, but you have chopped and changed so quickly. You're starting like you didn't really warm up before you did any of this.
Oh yeah,
and you're starting to feel some like cramping and some pains that you aren't normally there. Your brain is like, this doesn't normally happen. What's going on?
Yeah.
And he is just like, again, he's keeping pace with you. It's not like you're doing any less or more push-ups than him. But it's clearly wearing on you, whereas he might have been out for a bit longer than you, and he's clearly warmed up before doing this.
Yeah.
And it's like, you look like you're struggling there, friend.
Chad's gonna. Anyway, this is all child's play. Real men do. Is there a yoga equivalent in Arnhem?
Yoga's an ancient art.
Yeah, but it's probably just yoga, to be
You've
honest.
said calisthenics already.
Real men practice yoga, and the real exercise happens in armed combat. So really, I just need to use this time to loosen up.
Yeah, and you say like he's just like, I agree, yoga's fantastic. I did an hour of it before I started running.
Oh, God.
I was expecting to be Chad like real men eat breakfast and then go get breakfast.
Yeah, well, that's just too much. An hour of yoga. Who ever heard of doing an hour of yoga? I'm famished.
You
Do, sir.
Get up and walk away.
Oh lord.
As he just continues to do the push-up for a moment, and as he walks away, he's like, I'd recommend stretching out those muscles. I'll get a cramp otherwise.
Yeah, good luck to you. I'll give you a crap.
You start actually storming away back across the gardens. As you arrive back in the sitting room, you see Madame Morgrave now, like, just facing a book, but there is a chuckle from her as you walk back in.
I imagine all of that took place in the space of like a minute and a half.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
as you grumpily arrive back in like the foyer, you do reconvene with the rest of your group who have only just come downstairs.
A description
Moments
of like,
later.
what does Chad look like coming back in now? Because we know what he looked, pretty chill and happy leaving. What does he look like now?
Oh, like flushed. Like just like red. You know, it's got like there's like a difference between. Like if you've just like done like some sustained aerobics and like you look kind of like good for it and you're like cool, he's not even reached a point where he's sweating. He's just like his like internal temperature is about to explode out. So yeah, he's like bright red and just looks absolutely furious.
I imagine it's something where at a glance it looks like you've done a big workout, but on a close inspection you're not red because you're worked out, you're red because you're pissed off.
Absolutely, yeah.
Like there's no sweat, you're not out of breath or anything, you're just angry.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, just
And
Chad,
probably embarrassed as well a bit.
Yeah.
What's wrong? What happened?
I don't want to talk about it. There's just one of those misfit idiots who was
Oh
out
my
there
God.
trying to outdo me, and well, I mean, made a complete fool of himself. Amateurs.
Can I insight
Anyway.
check this?
Yes, with
I mean, do I
advantage.
need to? Yeah, okay. 23.
Yeah,
23,
you know
yeah.
exactly what's happened.
Oh, I see.
Anyway, I left
Breakfast?
my shirt upstairs, so I'll have to
Oh,
dine.
okay.
I'll have to dine as I am.
Oh,
And
okay.
Brass fully take it at face value and just sort of like slap Chad across the back to congratulate him.
Yes.
Yep.
Which hurts your aching muscles, Chen.
Yeah. I do some kind of saving throw on that.
Just from me, I'll do a deck saving throw again, just to see if you can like not get knocked to the floor as you're kind of weirdly wobbly and shaky right now.
That's another 10.
10 is just about enough. You were not expecting Brass to slap you on the back in the way he did, and you just got stumbled forward.
Yeah.
You do hold your footing, but it is like,
Yeah. Great. Yeah. Protein's what I really need.
Breakfast?
So you follow the smell of cooked breakfast through. So basically, from the entrance door, you go through a doorway to the left, and it leads you into this beautiful dining room. The positioning of this room on the building, when you first arrived, and it was the dilapidated building, this is one of the buildings that would have had like dark drapes crossed over it, and it was hidden. But you can see his room now, like it's fully open. There's these beautiful, like decorated, like there's paintings, like a beautiful mantelpiece with a fire going, and you can see through the glass windows into that beautiful garden that the front of the house eventually became. Huge, like mahogany table set up to seat far more people than there is currently in the house. Like this is clearly, or maybe to do with big visitors and guests and all sorts. But you do see now that there is 3 members of the Squad of Misfits are here. You see the 2 elvish-looking ones who look very similar. One of them is wearing like these kind of dark blacks and purple robes. Has was clearly like a spell book open on the table next to a plate full of food, and they're clearly not actually eating the food. They're kind of just studying through the book.
Do they have black and purple robes?
Yes.
Okay.
Unless that contradicts anything I've said in the past.
I mean, it doesn't, but that's also what Yusproth wears, so I don't know if that's meant to be the same or not, but it's fine if it is.
Good.
Next to him is a elvish girl. You see there is a striking similarity between these. These two are clearly related. Who has hair tied back in a very tight, like, ponytail, wears these very, like, not like tight as in a kind of like an attractive kind of way, but like tight as in like practical clothing. And you can see that there is like a belt with like daggers in it to the side.
Wow.
And what they are doing is, as her brother is reading his book, she's taking food off his plate actively and putting it on her plate instead. And then sat next to them with a completely empty plate is that large statue of a person you saw before, who I think you heard being called Chunk. This kind of weather-worn statue who has like a massive bandolier and a crossbow, a huge crossbow on their back, is sat very politely at this table that they do not fit in because they're massive, with an empty plate and everything. They just sat there as if they are supposed to be eating breakfast, but clearly incapable of it. As the statuette's face, you can see like weather-worn features. You can see all the vague shapes of eye and like the kind of carvings of a mouth, but it clearly isn't possible to open. Like, it is just a solid thing. But there is this kind of like, as you approach, the head slowly turns. You hear like the grinding of stone and kind of watches you approach. You can see on the opposite side of the table to them, there are places set out for all of you. And at one end of the table, you see your grandmother, Eretha Christmas, is sat there. This just lovely, like, she's got some sort of bowl of porridge and some like nice breads and like sweet cakes and stuff. She sees you, it's like, oh, Christina, good morning. I hope you slept well. Come in, help yourself. And she feels like she's got some like jam or marmalade, put on some bread, and she's just enjoying herself. And after a moment, you see on the other end of the table, from another doorway, Yusra enters just from Wargrave and takes a seat at the very head of the table. You see, she doesn't seem to partake in breakfast. She just has what appears to be a strong coffee, but she sits there nonetheless.
I just like, good morning, everyone.
You see the guy from the book like, good morning. You must be the Small and Mighty. That was it. Small and Mighty. Yes. We were talking about you. Hi. You kind of watching his face as he kind of explodes with the excitement, and then almost seems like he becomes very aware that he's talked a lot, and then the eyes are on him. He's like, anyway, and he just goes back to his books. His sister goes, hi, how's it going? Help yourself to any food. It's all made fresh. Just, whatever you want. If you want something, grab something.
Is the food closest to Chunk? Because it can't eat. Is that the most untouched? Is that where the most food is?
Yeah. So there's like in the middle of the table, there's like various like spreads of food that has obviously been passed around, but there is a collection of food kind of near Chunk that has been mostly untouched.
Rask is gonna zero in on it like a shark and sit directly opposite and just sort of grunt a kind of hello as he immediately starts filling his face.
You watch as the head of Chunk kind of just like watches you sit down. As you say hello, there is like a nod, and then as you start just devouring food, it kind of like twists in a kind of confused way as it just watches you.
Rask will just be like,
yeah.
Excellent use of props.
Thank you.
Yeah, very good.
Yes, you start tearing into various foods. Yes, and you'll take a seat, I presume. Yes, anything you guys want to do at the moment? Like,
Charlie is specifically going to sit across from the two elves, I guess.
Yes.
And get some food. Do you have names? Should we all do names?
As you say names, you hear the guy with the book. I'm so sorry. I'm so rude. I'm Gabrielius Ilharo. And this is my sister Rachel. You see her aside from. I was like, you call me Raz. Call him Gable. And it's like, yes. Sorry. Nicknames easier. And this is well, We don't really know, unfortunately. So we just call them Chunk. They seem to like it.
They don't speak.
They, unfortunately, don't seem capable of it.
Okay.
Joshua speaks up from across the table, like, Chunk is an unfortunate soul. From our investigations, it seems to be a mortal soul has been trapped within a statue. We've not been able to identify who they were prior to this. Baron came up with the name Chunk, and they seem to like it to a certain degree, so that is what's stuck. Although I would prefer to find out a real name if possible. And as this is happening, and mention that they like it, you watch as Chunk just nods, seemingly content. The face of their shape, although again weather worn from like clearly years being in rain and weather stuff like that, there is a kind of vague kind of like smile or happiness to the face, which makes them look. It's just this kind of like jolly giant at all times. So there's kind of like nod, proving of the name Chunk. About this point, you see walking into the room, not shirtless, but you see Baron come in and like, aha, my friend, and comes and sits directly opposite you, Chad. I didn't catch your name earlier, by the way. I'm Hamish Stormcaster. And puts a hand across the table towards you.
Before Chad responds, could you do a history check?
Yes, you can.
See if we recognise that name.
Yeah, do it with advantage.
With advantage. 14.
14 is enough for some decent information. So yes, you do know the name. You don't know Hamish personally, but you know the name Dawncaster. Because, so the sort of time you've been spending in Dowbridge, you have run into a few, new money people, which is kind of like Sylvester Parkhouse and people like that. You've been aware of them. Dawncaster, however, is an old money kind of house. They are kind of like they're proper like established family within Dowbridge. One of the few people that would be vaguely respected by the Riverdanians, and actually they come. The Dawncasters own a fort town called Angelgate, which is on the western parts of Brattonshire, which makes it kind of fairly close-ish to Vertine.
Border. Yeah.
Yes, it's got fairly close to 13. You're not bordering it. There is kind of a slight difference, like where you border Brattonshire. The thing about Angelgate, it borders the Eremos Wastes, so they are a military people. So again, there's a lot of similarities going on here between you and your family, but they basically protected the border between Brattonshire and the Eremos Wastes. But the reason in particular you know of them, beyond even just that, is every so many years, they used to run a tournament on their land. And they invited your father and your family. So you have been to Angelgate maybe when you were very young, and a tournament took place. And you're pretty sure your dad at one point did a little duel with his dad, but you can't quite remember the outcome of that. You just know your dad hasn't talked about it much.
Do I remember the names of any of the established Dawncasters?
You don't. Not off the top of your head. You're scratching your brain a bit. Like, you barely remember Hamish. You must have been young, and you think he's about the same age as you, so you would have been quite young at the time. And you're scratching your head trying to remember anyone else.
So Chad's gonna sort of hear the name Hamish. Dawncaster.
Yes.
Not of Angelgate.
The very one. Yes.
How on earth are you? You're a Dawncaster. You're right. Okay. Chadronethius. Chadronethius. De Vertine. The third. Of course.
I remember you. You were that scrawny kid who came to that tournament one year.
You were at the tournament.
Yes. Your father, Chadronethius, he did fairly well, but putting his ass by my dad, that was such a good deal. I'll remember that one. You never came to any more tournaments after that.
No,
he wasn't. He didn't. His pride wasn't hurt, was it?
My father's pride could never be hurt. I'm not sure. I think we were just busy. Perhaps Mother was washing her hair every other year that you did those on those days. You know how it is with the warm waters each summer.
This is
That's incredible. How come a Dawncaster of all people is here? This is amazing. Excellent form outside, by the way. You're absolutely magnificent.
Oh, I thank you. Not too bad yourself. I think you need a little warm up. I think you would have beaten me easily. I'm sure.
Well,
it all relates to did you see us yesterday when we was out in the field?
Oh, I'm afraid I was too taken. You know how it is out there.
No.
Outside Angel Tower and Vertine. It's like an absolute pigsty, and just being here amongst relative, this is relative comfort. I was just very distracting. So I wasn't really looking around all that much, I have to say.
No worries.
How
gosh, you probably wouldn't have seen it. Quite young last time. The spear. It was my father's. It is now mine. It's. He looks across to Madame Orgrave, going, "Actually, am I allowed to say this?" And she just nods, like, "Good. It's a powerful relic, and gosh, I don't know how to fucking use the thing, so I needed some help."
Harley, like you hear like the knife against the plate. Sorry. Before we get into specifics, we could finish off. We were doing names before you entered. We were just gonna introduce.
Yes, and we've introduced each other to each other. We've done names. Charlie, this is Hamish Dawncaster.
He does go, "I'm so sorry. There's more of you here. Of course there is. Please, yes. I'm Hamish. You can call me Baron. Everyone does. That's Gable. That's Raz. That's Chunk. And Hespia. She'll be outside somewhere. Who are all of you?"
Yeah. What?
We were doing that.
Harley.
He's just taking control of a situation you're already involved in.
While Tali is then gonna say what she's saying, Chad is going to start quietly offering Hamish like food and stuff, and like sort of saying like, "Well, you want some sausages? George? Have the eggs for you."
Oh my god!
Yes. Just pile it on.
Tali. He's just to himself says Tali, and then gestures to the others to introduce them. Everyone.
Brask he's at this point sort of covered in food, and his hands too. So he'll just sort of keep and then extend a slightly mucky hand and be like, "Brask, knuckle."
He looks you up and down and goes, "I just gives you a proper like big handshake, like I like you. You're intimidating. I like him. He's good. Brask, yes. And what about you two?" And he just points to you, Pebble, and Christina.
I'm Pebble. Hi.
Hello.
Nice to meet you.
He offers a handshake to you, which is now covered in the grime from Brask's food.
But Pebble isn't very skirmish with that. It's fine.
Yeah. So just a very slimy handshake is getting passed around.
Pebble's like, good.
And yourself? And he sort of gestures towards you, Christina.
So Christina's been quite pensive since she got up, so hasn't just been sort of. She's got locket in hand and she's sort of twirling it. She just goes, "Christina." Yeah.
A pleasure. He turns to you, trying to go like, "Sorry, I have to ask. You a godling?"
Yes.
Well, fuck me. This place gets more exciting by the day, doesn't it? And he just sort of gestures vaguely towards Yasra.
So this is my retinue. My colleagues. Noticed that yesterday morning Chad was calling all of you friends. Now he's back to. This is my my little company, I suppose you might call. And you have your own compatriots.
Yes, the squad of misfits, formed, I guess, naturally from us all arriving here. We never knew each other for it, but they need a leader, and I've sort of put him into shape. You hear a comment from Raz, like, yeah, well, except from Hesperia, who you can't control, and she doesn't listen to you. So... don't worry
I know
about
what
that.
that's like.
Oh.
How come? What brings you all here? How on earth? Unless you've already answered this question, in which case Chad is just.
It's the Genesis relic.
Well, so you say, I think you're just saying, everyone. You notice that Gable is going to speak up, and then again, Baron just speaks over, like, well, for me, it's the relic. For these two, they have magic powers they don't know how to use. That one there's a living statue, and well, Hesperia is what's Hesperia's deal again? She's she's got that voice. I don't know. It's a magical voice. It's chosen of a people, something like that. Needed help controlling.
She's
it.
a hobby.
Yes. She kind of thinks herself above all of us. Ironic, really, seeing that she flies, but she also won't eat cooked food, live apparently. She's currently out hunting in the forest, I think.
Okay.
Right. Yes. Well, I'm still a little bit confused as to why I'm here, but I'm just sort of, people like this do need their shepherd, so I'll just go around helping.
We're here because of the Archmadoon chat. Well, and Christina.
Can I want to cast minor illusion and put a shirt on Chad?
100%.
Amazing.
You absolutely, there's nothing preventing you from doing this. So just describe to me what this shirt looks like.
Like the thickest black woolen shirt.
Yeah.
Possible.
Very
Very loose. Couldn't make. It's like, you know that impossible, like the darkest dark that like light.
Yes.
Under black, yes.
Yeah.
It's got long sleeves
Yeah.
and turtleneck.
Great.
Yeah, up there.
I would just ask Chad, roll me a perception check. Because the thing about this, it's an illusionary shirt, so you don't feel anything. So I want to know if you notice it or not.
No.
Good.
2.
Yeah. Okay. So, Chad, you're completely oblivious. I think as this was happening, because you were drinking. I think that's what's happening. You take a big swig or something, and you don't notice that you're now wearing a jumper, essentially, a big black woolen jumper, and you just sort of like, what?
Excellent.
Well, you continue eating for a while, and you see Baron continues to dominate conversation.
Tali will at some point does like, Chad's in this whole like, somebody needs to shepherd these people. Tali at some point, as soon as they continue, will be like, Chad, just you're not in charge. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. Tali doesn't know what's going on here. I don't know what you're doing with, but we're not your subordinates.
Are you making this public or?
Yeah, is that a
yes,
public
she's
thing,
just
or is
saying
that...
this across the table. She's just fed up.
Oh my god.
Totally, absolutely, totally, yeah, understood, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
More bacon, Hamish?
This is golden.
While we're
just put it on, chatty boy.
Yes, excellent. We've got to keep these muscles fed. Absolutely.
While we're all eating, because Gable's looking at a book, right?
Yes.
Can Tali like just real subtle like what's he reading?
Roll me a perception check, but then also roll me a stealth check.
Yeah, I won't guidance myself. It's we don't. I mean, 11, so it's not great.
For perception or the stealth?
Perception.
Okay.
Stealth, we got an 18.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
So not the way around I thought this was going to go. So you, for the position you're in, you can't really see. It doesn't help that he's sat on the opposite side of the table. He is kind of flicking through it. You see he's writing in the book in various places. But yes, but you do go unnoticed. Like, he doesn't spot you doing this. He's clearly
She's just gonna ask. She's like, what are you? Well, that conversation's over there with Baron. I'm just curious. What are you? Tali's just curious. What are you? I'm curious. What are you reading?
This is my spell book. Yasra encouraged that I magic doesn't come so inherently to me. I can do little tricks here and there, but to achieve larger things, it gets complicated sometimes. I kind of lose control a little bit. So the spell book helps me focus. So I'm just writing down some thoughts about how I can try and manipulate the things I can do to well, you can see he's trying, like, he's clearly the reason why he's writing this stuff in a book is because he struggles to kind of like vocalize what he's doing. You can kind of see him spine, like, why don't I just kind of look at the table, and there, Brass, as you're tearing through food, there's probably like an apple or something that you've most of the way eaten through now. It's like, yeah, if you just watch that apple, you watch as he'll hold his hands up, and you see he puts one hand like here and then starts rotating another hand around it, and as you do, you hear this kind of faint like ticking noise, almost like a clock, like it kind of does that, and then it goes rolls it back again, and you watch as the apple the Brass is eating just suddenly reforms.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
But it's only a temporary effect, and he kind of moves his hands away, and you watch as the apple just kind of it just goes back to how it was.
An illusion.
No. I can temporarily shift various elements of time, but I'm trying to decipher the way to make it a permanent effect. I haven't cracked that yet.
Oh, okay.
Yasra kind of interjects and goes, "It's okay, Gable. You've only been doing this for a number of months. You have many years to try and work this out." But Gable's like, "Well, then I should get started, shouldn't I?"
It's hardly familiar with people using spell books as a
vaguely
as an in-world thing. Yeah.
Yeah, roll me a history or religion check.
Religion. A natural one.
Oh.
Nope.
So it's not that you don't know about it, is that your mind, the only exposure you have to people using spellbooks has come from a lot of religious dogma based around like heresy and spell. You obviously were taught a lot of the religious from North Kostrand, who are so incredibly anti-magic.
Yeah.
You are having a hard time seeing a spell book and not like you're flinching or like going, "Oh, heretic." Like there's a lot of those kind of thoughts going through your mind.
Like a tick. Like
Tick,
Yeah.
There's a lot of that going on in your mind, and like again, Tyler, you do know that is the wrong attitude, but because of that, it blocks you knowing anything really about how they work or what they do.
She'll be very polite about it, but she's like, maybe you should chat with them. Pebble sometimes struggles to control magic. We were trying to help him. Maybe if it helped you, maybe it could help.
Yeah.
him.
Dali is a good teacher.
Well, I'm very different. Magic isn't something I studied so much as it
I mean, mine isn't studied either.
comes to me.
But yeah.
Sure, yeah. I mean, I'd be happy to talk through what I've put together, but Yasra's the kind of the better teacher, lecturer, I guess. She's taught me everything I know, and I kind of figured that's why you're here, isn't it? To learn more about what you can do, and
In a way. Yeah.
What's the original reason some of us came here? But I think there's a bigger reason now.
Bird.
Yeah. Well.
As Brans has been eating, you're watching, kind of weirdly mirroring what's going on between Chad and Hamish. Chunk has been grabbing food and just like sliding plates towards Brask, kind of just like almost an amusement and watching him tear food apart.
I love Chunk.
It's just like there's like in this situation, there's kind of like a childish, gleeful smile on his face as it just like pushes plates of food towards Brask, almost like putting things in like. It's like a wood chipper that you should just kind of watching things get destroyed.
I'm like a big lizard version of Will It Blend.
Yeah,
Yes.
basically. It's like,
What will he chew?
Yeah.
He's made a conveyor belt out of plates. He's putting just
Yeah.
one
Every,
end.
every
and the
time
other is
Brask
going.
is like endeared more and more to Chung. He's just like, this is the most generous guy ever. Thank you. Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah.
What dynamic duo. But wait. I don't know if we've established this yet. So these people already know about the. Well, I mean, yeah, Baron knows about the relics and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And they know about Archimedes as well, right?
You don't
everything's-
necessarily know that, but you
Yeah.
can probably, if you guys know it, they probably know about it.
Because Tali was saying like more important reasons than that, and it's like,
Yeah.
are they leveled with this thing?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess Pebble can ask.
Absolutely.
But you guys know already about Archimedes and all that, right?
You see Gable kind of look up to you. Yeah, that, and then his sister cuts across like, yeah, it's the prophecy about the end of the world that apparently either we are or you are gonna fix.
I mean, we can all try fixing it.
Yeah, all that, whatever. Really, I just kind of don't want the world to end. So
Yeah, that'll suck.
yeah, it would.
Yeah.
So what kind of magic do you do? Just Raz kind of just points a finger at you, Pebble.
I don't know. For a while, I didn't even know it was, magic, really. I get stressed and things happen. I'm just trying to control it. I'm trying to use it for good, really. But yeah, what do you do?
As you say that, and kind of the beat after you say get stressed, you watch as the rest of you watch as she disappears.
Oh!
She appears an inch behind your head, Pebble, and goes boom.
Ah! Not like that.
Damn it! just slowly walks back around the table again.
Yeah.
What kind of magic do you do then?
Tricks and stuff. Like I can turn invisible, I can teleport. Fun magic. Not like him, just boring time things.
That sure fun. That sounds fun. Yeah.
Boring time things.
Boring time. Yeah, boring time. That's a stretch, but yeah. Fun
Yeah,
magic
you
sounds
see
fun.
him like wind back time on an apple. And
Maybe
then-
Chad didn't see
Point.
you.
Yeah, Chad probably didn't
was,
see.
Chad was absolutely
Yeah.
like just falling over Hamish.
He's like staring at him, eating like.
Yeah.
Kind of as this conversation goes on, there is a very gentle and polite knock at the door, like, and the door opens, and you see this very thin, wiry, like pallid-looking man enters the room, and he goes, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize there was guests here." And he kind of looks around the room, and he quickly, like, eyes like nervously dark across the table, and they settle on Madame Morgrave. Brass is waving. May I enter, Madame? And Madame's like, yes, come in, Mr. Green. You're more than welcome here. You remember the name Mr. Green from when you were looking at the visitor logbook? Mr. Green is the only person here who comes and goes fairly frequently. Everyone else you saw in the logbook, you now realise to be the Squad of Misfits.
And they haven't left yet.
No, they haven't left. You see this, very thin, wiry man approach. As he approaches, I would like probably just Tali, I think, realistically. Just roll a perception check. Since I imagine you're probably the one who's really paying attention.
Ooh, 21.
21. I'm going to send you a quick little message on Discord.
Oh.
His name is Mr. Green.
Mr. Green. Just the
Right.
colour.
Does he sit at the table?
You currently he just walks to the head of the table where Madame Morgrave is. Looks like he's about to have a conversation with her. Ryan, I've just seen your question. I'll answer that in a second.
That's right. It's not major anymore.
Yeah.
Where's Mr.
As the Brask is just gonna like take out Dragon Fang and just sort of reach across the table between everybody to like impale a bit of food right at the end, and just go.
Yeah.
He's very aware of how quiet the room has gotten since this guy walked in, so he's
Yes.
pretty not going to stop eating.
Tali will like move it to the middle of the table, so it's like more central, so he doesn't have to reach like quite.
And as you kind of move it down, then Chunk just grabs it and just puts it in front of you.
Just slowly smushes it into my face.
Yeah.
Interesting.
This man, so he moves up to the table, and you see he starts to have a conversation, quite hushed conversation with Yasura. I'll say with that perception check as well. You pick up bits of the conversation. They're talking about finances. Nothing particularly exciting or interesting. They're just talking about the finances of the manor.
Yeah, like so. Tali continues to like eat and sort of but she is like, if anyone is paying attention to Tali is like she has not taken her eyes off his fuss. She is just like intently watching them.
Yeah. I'm gonna roll a perception check for something then.
And not in like an aggressive way, just in a There's no like she doesn't yeah.
Yeah, no, but you are kind of like half watching, half not, and trying to get a little bit stuff out. Yasura catches that and goes, "I'm so sorry. I'm being terribly rude. Small and mighty, this is Mr. Green. He is our money man. I guess is the best way to put it. Let me just check. Started talking before I got my notes open. He's a member of the Brattonshire Council. What is your role? You're the Secretary of Finance for the Minister of Health. Yes, that is correct. Yeah, that was it. He has helped us.
Council?
Yeah, so the Brattonshire Council, is essentially the ruling politicians in Brattonshire.
Uh-huh.
There are 7 politicians. They are. It is not a democracy. They're not voted in. The short version is they essentially can buy a seat on the council. So they are 7 wealthy.
Was it not 8 of them?
No, there's 7 people, and then there is an attaché from the abbey. Who's
and this
the
guy
is
head of. Sorry, what again?
No, this guy is the secretary.
Yeah.
To the Minister of Health. And he is the finance secretary. So basically, what he kind of falls in, he's in a weird mid-ground between 2 of the councillors, because the 7 councillors relate to the 7 pillars of society and the 7 gods. He basically falls between what essentially the god of finance, the god of commerce, and the god of health. And he is the Secretary of Finance to the Minister of Health.
Okay,
very bureaucratic title. Like clearly, he's a bureaucrat.
Is there a Secretary of Health to the Minister of Finance? Sorry. That'll be
maybe. But yes.
Okay.
So Madam Wilkins is like, she goes, he pulled some political strings to make sure that this place is fully funded by the Brattonshire government. They just don't know what they're paying for. This was in exchange for us supporting Mr. Green for a situation he was unequipped to handle.
Well, thanks for this place. Seems like a great sanctuary.
You see, there's this kind of Mr. Green doesn't like being addressed particularly, as you kind of say. No, of course it's. I think quite important that we protect, the youths of all walks of life and nature. And
is he doing the politician thumb?
Yes. Totally. Roll me an insight check.
Yes. 26. Oh, natural 20. 26.
Wow. Yes, amazing. He doesn't believe a word of what you just said.
Interesting.
He is clearly not supporting this place because of any altruistic reasons.
Yeah, no, okay, yeah.
Him and Yasura have worked out a deal.
Yeah, that benefits him, and that's the only reason he's supporting.
Well, no, you think more he is
pushed to...
He's been pushed to do this.
Yeah.
Like, it does benefit him, but he's got the raw end of the deal. You think Yasura has put him down, gone like, we'll help you, but only if you do this very complicated and also quite risky political thing for us.
Yep. Okay.
Which you think is which lends itself to the very timidness nature. Like, he also doesn't seem to clearly he does not feel comfortable around people of magical persuasion, it seems. But obviously, as the message I sent you earlier suggests, he falls into that category himself.
Yes.
So yes.
Cool.
But it's like, anyway, well, so yes, I wanted to just everything looks good for the next quarter. So if there's no other business, I will make my leave.
Are you staying with? Are you staying here at the moment?
No, I need to get back. I can't be gone too long. Otherwise, well, I need to make sure this ship doesn't sink. And they don't discover there's any rats on board or any holes. Or I need to get back. Pleasure to meet you all. And yes, just basically just exits the conversation, barely saying goodbye. But as he turns to what Joshua just kind of cut out to and goes, "Don't forget to come back next week for your treatment, by the way." I was like, yes, of course. Right, goodbye. And he just walks out of the room.
Interesting.
So Chad, who I imagine has been probably in fairly sort of deep conversation with Hamish through most of this. So no funding from the Dawncasters here. No, best to keep it in the family. I absolutely agree. Yeah.
It's like, well, the Dawncasters, we pay our taxes like anyone else, and that goes to pay the government who obviously pays this place. So, done deal as far as I'm concerned.
Yes, I mean the Verteens. We absolutely, I assume, pay taxes. So I agree.
Well, actually, Chad, the way it works is because each essentially
people pay taxes to
correct.
my family. Yeah.
So Brattonshire is so Riverdane is a feudal land essentially. So there are pockets of place. So people pay taxes to you. So yeah, you don't pay taxes outwards. Whereas Brattonshire has more of a centralised government, which in case people pay taxes to the centralised government. Yeah,
and Chad knows that. He's just trying to match the energy.
I will say, however, with kind of there was more of a spotlight was drawn on Mr. Green. And Chad, I'll let you roll me an insight check with disadvantage. I want to see if you pick up on something.
I do, Tali, because this guy is leaving like immediately.
Yes, he's getting the fuck out of there very quickly.
Tali is so he's left the room. Tali wants to go and catch him before he leaves the building.
Okay.
But she's gonna just excuse herself like politely, just trying to, as if it's not related, right?
Sure. Yeah, okay, that's fine. No one bats an eyelid really. You stepping up like excusing yourself to go to the bathroom or something like that.
Yeah.
You're doing that, Chad. What'd you get? 6. You don't pick up anything. Like that man. You just look at him and go, I could break that man in half. He's so thin.
Yep. No, it's probably. I wonder if Hamish, if he'd last longer in a fight against me or Hamish.
Yeah, exactly. That's something. Who could bench press that man the most? Me or Hamish?
Will it blend?
Yes. So I put it in front of Brask. How would he? Yeah. Tyler, you excuse yourself, and yes, you can catch this man. You can see he's making his way towards the entrance foyer, and where the little visitor's logbook is, and he's signing his name into it.
Excuse me. Sorry, probably didn't mean to stop.
He sees you, and at this point clearly clocks what you are. He goes, "Oh God!" And just looks down at the floor.
No, it's fine. I don't want. Tyler doesn't want you to feel uncomfortable.
I'm afraid that has already happened, but I appreciate that. Might I look at you?
Yes, it's fine.
You see Ulysses' head, but he doesn't quite make eye contact. Like, even with the promotion alone, doesn't quite overcompensate for the clear guilt he suddenly feels about being in the presence of a godling. But so he kind of looks vaguely near your face, but coming over your shoulder.
Tali's uncomfortable. We're all
I mean, you're daytime Tali, you're confident.
I know, not confident, but I'm uncomfortable with the reverence that people treat her.
Yes. Sorry, yes.
She doesn't revel in that. It's not something.
Yes. I see what you mean. Yeah, so he does kind of like vaguely look kind of over your shoulder-ish.
Yeah. I just before you leave, Talia had a couple of questions, and I hope you don't mind. They're a little, possibly a little personal. But it,
Well, I guess I don't think I can refuse you. Is that how that works? But if I may make a request, can they be brief? I do need to get back before someone notices.
they can be brief. It's just a couple. Talia noticed in the other room that I believe you have a certain condition.
Yes, yeah. I mean, I come here regularly for some treatments. It is well, it's a magical affliction that needs treatments, and that's why I'm here, and not just regular doctors.
Right. Yeah. Just what is that treatment?
Oh, you'd have to ask Yasra. She
you don't know.
Oh, it's some concoction potion of some sort. I think. All I know is I drink it every couple of days or weeks or so.
And
I couldn't tell you what's in it though, unfortunately.
How does it make you feel?
Better, I think. It's from what I understand. It's managing the condition I have. Not a cure is not available to me.
Well, that's.
You, as you say, well, there is a twinge of interest when you say that.
Does he question, or does he just not say anything?
No, but you can kind of see, like, in his expression, like with your passive kind of insight, there is a sudden interest in this. Like, I'm basically 1 foot out the door until you said well, and suddenly like he seems to more like settle a little bit more into the conversation.
I mean, just I've been doing some research into the condition you have, and she will like close the distance between them so they can have a slightly more hushed conversation. She's like, can we speak plainly? Right, you're afflicted with vampirism, correct?
There is.
It's very hushed. It's very hushed. Very like.
I know.
Hush, hush.
There's a look in his face as if he'd been punched in the gut as you say the words. Not because it's a shock to him, but because he's done everything he can to deny it. So to hear the words like plainly put out there is this kind of like gut punch to him. Like you see eye twitch and like.
Yes, sorry. It's easier to speak plainly, and the treatment you get, it prevents you from harming people.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. You have a curse. It's not really a magical condition as such. It's a curse. I've just started researching it, but there is a theory that if you were to die and then come back, you would be cured. But I'm not suggesting you try that because I really cannot vouch for it, the success rate or if it would work. I just. So, because you'd have to be revived, and that's obviously a very, very magical, very strong magic to do that.
Yes.
But that is possible. Again, I don't know. Effective this is. How old are you, if you don't mind?
All right. I'm gonna roll some dice for this because I hadn't planned this.
Roll a d100 twice. 3 times.
A D1000.
Yes.
Gonna roll a d4.
Imagine
He's
if you get-
3 million years old.
What happens if you get 1?
He's
I'm
3
1.
years old.
What?
The baby.
I rolled in these D100 3 times and I got 3. I don't know what to tell you guys.
He's 0.
Hasn't been born yet.
He does feel a little like taken aback by the personal question, even though surprisingly, again, you've asked him about vampirism. It's like, 47. Why?
No, I mean, what curse? Is that you've been alive for 47 years?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So it's quite a new thing.
Yes, I read. I've been coming here for a couple of years now, I think.
Okay. Do you mind? How did it happen to you? Just this one last question, and then I'll let you go.
Well, persuasion check on that one, but with advantage.
Okay. Persuasion. I don't know if I'm good at this. Let's see. Oh, a natural 20.
Wow.
Plus minus 1, so 19.
Okay, well, fine. Still natural 20. It's funny. This man, you feel like you've basically broken down any barriers this man had about.
Nice.
He kind of deflates, and it's like, I was set upon in the night when I was walking home once in the streets.
In this town.
Yes, I've never. Darby's has been my home. I was born and raised here, and I've spent all my life here. Yes, I was attacked in the night, and
Do you remember anything about them?
no, they struck me from behind. But I was taken somewhere. I vague memories of seeing someone. I think they may have called themselves the Broker. It's very foggy memories. I wonder if perhaps they had drugged me or something, or I barely remember the conversation I had with this person. But something happened, and then I woke up day after. I thought maybe it was a bad dream. I just got knocked down the street on the way home, and then found my way home somehow. But there was a hunger.
Yeah.
There's this look of sorrowful regret in his face, and it's like, some bad things happened.
Yeah, but it's not really your fault. You didn't ask for this. The last question I had is just does the name Yisproth mean anything to you?
No, I don't think
No.
it does.
Not heard anyone called that?
Should I know that name?
No, not particularly. Just an old story I read about. I'm doing research.
Sure. Okay. No, unfortunately not. I am not familiar with the name.
Or any other people who are also.
I'm not aware.
Okay.
I didn't know the name of it even until I.
He's
Yes,
not
sir.
invited to the Vampire Club meeting.
The secret
That's,
vampire, the monthly Vampires Anonymous.
Yeah.
Tali, from your research, you kind of pick up that you have been picking up those kind of like levels to vampires.
Of course, yes.
And very much like Chad, this guy clearly can move around in the daytime and things like that. Like he is in the earliest stage of vampirism.
Okay.
And obviously, you learnt that if you sustain from eating, you progress into this kind of more monstrous side.
Yeah.
That has obviously been held at bay by this treatment that he's been receiving for several years, as it sounds, from Yasra and so on. So.
Okay. And the treatment, because you can do magic, yes?
No. It's just, I've never.
But you could, right?
No. It's just there's just this curse upon me. That's the only magical thing that's ever
I see.
intersected my life.
Okay. But it's good you're getting help for it. It's great. I suspect I have a feeling that you probably don't sleep very well. Is that right?
Sorry, you broke.
Sleep has been
He
tricky.
doesn't sleep
Yes.
So,
very well. She'll pull out a dream catcher. That would be her one, and she'll
Uh-huh.
just if you hang this above your bed, it will help.
You kind of see he takes it like kind of gingerly, and then kind of like looks at it and realizes what it is. You watch he kind of like very quickly tucks it into her pocket, like, thank you.
Okay.
oh.
But just make sure you keep coming and getting that treatment right, because it stops you hurting people.
Yes.
Okay. Well, have a good day, week, time.
Thank you. And then he sort of turns and starts to hurry out the door. Not quite sure if he's overstayed his welcome
So
or
bamboozled. Yes.
you're bamboozled. Yeah.
Okay.
You are probably the second person he's ever discussed that with.
This is fair.
So you're not really. There's no path for the course here about how the conversation about that should go.
Yeah, Natalia will
So-
just come back to the break.
Yeah. Okie dokie. You come back to the table. Well, actually, as you are making your way back to the table, you see descending the stairs with blood on her talons. You see Hespia. This
Natalia is like instant, like hella tense, hella doesn't know where to look. Because from my understanding, right, the Abbey teaches that these are bad. No, but the Abbey teaches these are bad, right? These creatures are not right.
They're not.
No?
So it's not necessarily like they're monsters, like they are, but they're not godly folk. Let's put it that way. They're kind of tribal in nature. Kind of similar to they treat the Draken in that they are other. They're outside. They are sometimes they can be dangerous. Sometimes they can just be fairly neutral. But they're kind of an unknown to you is the reality.
I mean, she'll just be like, good morning.
She looks you up and down, and there is kind of as much as you don't like the reverence that comes to you, Tali, you are used to people kind of at least being neutral, if not revering you. This woman, you see these kind of like plumes of feathers. She has this kind of dark grey. She looks kind of like, you know how like male pigeons have grey, but then colours like streaks of like green and stuff.
Yeah,
Like she has that kind of thing going on, and like where her legs are, but both her hands have the kind of like that have clawed like talons, and she looks you up and down with these kind of very poignant bird eyes.
Yeah, I'll just stare her down. I'm gonna, that's fine. We can.
And there's just kind of a look of disdain. It's like, And he just walks away into another room, just not addressing you.
I was just like standing there, like I don't.
And you do remember what, as much as Baron Hamish blows a lot of hot air out people's asses, he did say that she looks down on everyone.
Big name. So just go back to the breakfast room. I'm bamboozled.
Yes, you head back to the breakfast room. Just quickly, while Tali was out, has anyone else been doing anything important, non-tomfoolery stuff before we go to our break in the breakfast room? No. Alrighty then. So I think that will be a good place to have our break then. So let's have a break. We'll get back out. Let's make it 10 to a 10-minute break. Just jump back on things, and then we'll pick up from there. Cool.
Alright. Be good.
Back in a bit, guys.
Back in a bit.
Bye. Bye. It's not wanting to go to break. Hello.
We're here forever, guys.
Yeah. Okay. Bye.
Right.
Bye.
In a bit.
And we're back.
Wow.
So, Tali, you are just returning to the room, and just before you arrive, while you are out of the room, Christina, you've obviously been sitting around the table, quite quiet. As you're sitting there, kind of working your way through your breakfast, and I guess contemplating things. Imagine you've got the medallion up in hand or on the table. You see just at the periphery of your vision, this kind of sparkling pink mage hand kind of crow out your hand and just give you a little pinch on the cheek.
Oh.
And
Do
you hear
you
your
like
grandmother going, "Are you okay, dear? You seem a little distant this morning."
Yes, I'm fine.
Now.
For context, we hadn't resolved the conflict from the night before.
Not really. You were in that situation. You were a bit, upset that you didn't know the full story, and obviously dealing with things. And then it spiraled into conversation about larger Archimadoon and the Genesis relics and etc. But you and your grandmother haven't had a chance to kind of discuss that any further. So.
And I'm not doing it now. Not in front of all these people.
Fair. Do you want to find a moment alone to talk at some point?
Maybe, if there's time. If there's a world to save and all that.
The sass.
I'm sure there will be some time, dearie. Kind of, as you say that, as if it was planned, Tyler, you enter the room again. About this time, you see Yusra stands up, having finished the one cup of coffee she's been sort of nursing the whole way through this breakfast. This stick-thin woman stands up like, right, well, continue to drink and eat as much as you want if you want to. Otherwise, you're more than welcome to make about your day. Regarding the matters of Archimadoon and travelling into the Labyrinth Librarium to finding the Book of Prophecies.
We all back. Sorry. We're all in the room for this, or no? Is this still entirely down?
Everyone apart from Hespia, who's just disappeared somewhere off.
Okay.
Because she wandered off.
Yeah.
Actually, no, she probably wouldn't.
I thought she went across, yeah.
No, sorry. Yes, she would be here as well. So you see her sort of standing awkwardly by the door as you kind of enter in, Tali, because she's not sitting.
Excuse me, please. Can I just...
She kind of gives you a side eye and then sort of steps to the side and lets you enter the room.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Yes. Joshua looks across at Small and Mighty and goes, as I understand it from Creedor, you have had a rather busy handful of days. So I think it best you have a chance to rest, recuperate, and prepare before certain things will fall into place rather quickly, I think, once we are aware of what to do next. Or perhaps not, but there is a moment here, a calm before the storm, let's call it. So, I think the end of this week, on Soul Day, that is when we will enter into the Labyrinth Librarium. That gives you a handful of days to sort yourselves out, to any work preparations you need. Then, if you leave this place, that's fine. You're more than welcome to come back, but do come back here by Soul Day, and then we will attempt to travel to the Labyrinth Librarium.
Are we all going?
Yes. Small Mighty and the Squad of Misfits.
Because I know there was some what's the word? Disagreements between yourself and...
No, so the disagreements wasn't...
Madame Morgrave wanted the Misfits to go. Yeah.
Yes, so you are correct. Madame Morgrave felt only the Misfits needed to go.
Yes.
Whereas Eretha felt that Small and Mighty... she didn't feel that Small and Mighty should only go on their own. She was more like, Small and Mighty are the ones destined to do this. You think perhaps they may have come to an agreement where it's like, both of you are going to go. But you are aware that you need both relics to open the portal. That was stated. To open the doorway to the Labyrinth Librarium, you need 2 relics. So, at the very least, you need Hamish and Christina.
Yep.
Sorry, I'm just quickly putting my calendar. Yes, okay. So, you effectively have 2 days. It is currently today's day is off-tide, and tomorrow is ill-tide, and the day after that is Soul Day. So you have 2 days to do whatever the hell you want before you return to enter into the Labyrinth Librarium.
Okay.
Chad is immediately going to be wanting to take Hamish up on figuring out about the spear. Spear, lance.
It's a spear.
Spear. And sort of doing a bit of cross training with him on that.
It's just like, grand, yes, that's how about we head down into the what did I call it? Hold on a second.
The arena. No,
not arena.
What do you want?
I called it something. Hold on a second. Jumping between different tabs and things. No, I didn't call it anything. The training room. What a big name.
Gymnasium.
We have. Tell you what, we have the perfect space for this. Why don't you head down with me to the training room, and I'll show you something that will blow your mind.
Yeah. Charlie's like, can I come?
Yes, of course, more the merrier.
Yes.
Rask is going to hold up Dragon Fang, which is also covered in food now because he was using it and go, reach out!
Yeah.
Chad is also at that point, when he claps his hands, he's going to do a perception check.
See how loud.
14. With a 14, does he realise that he's got a big black woolly jumper on?
Yes. You go like, like what is this? Yes. You suddenly notice you've been clothed at some point by someone.
When Chad does that, he's just touching his own skin.
Your hand literally goes through it. Yeah.
Yes. See, Hamish. My fellows, my chaps are just really, really excellent at magic. You see, magical jumper.
Can I change the minor illusion?
Yep.
That so, if the jumper's going to turn into worms.
Worms.
Jesus Christ.
You have worms just crawling over you in the vague like silhouette of a jumper.
Yes. The thing is, Chad has no idea who's doing this.
Is he sure about that? I mean,
No, I think Chad doesn't. Like, there's a lot of magic users here who could potentially do this. Like you're not really familiar with what like Yusra, Eretha, and Gable can do. But also you did probably vaguely heard that Raz is all about trickery magic as well. So
yeah,
there's a lot going on. You're like, oh god, who's doing this?
Also, has Chad seen Christina do a?
Yes, because she once tricked you before doing card tricks with a minor illusion.
Yes. So Chad's gonna this is, of course, the work of Christina.
As you kind of vaguely look towards Christina, you see Christina, you probably, I imagine, still have like a kind of fairly blank face on it. But Eretha is giggling her ass off. Just sitting there like...
People a little bit as well.
As this is happening.
I've noticed the giggling.
Yes, I think it's quite obvious.
At this point, yeah.
Yes, with a 19.
Yeah. You see Hamish just like, yes, well, great trick. I'm sure, I'm sure some bad guys will be intimidated by that one.
Yes.
Anyway, back to what I was wanting to do. And it starts walking out the room.
Hamish, I'll wait here for a second. I'm just going to go and get dressed.
How long does
as you kind of leave the room and your Christina's visibility on you breaks, the spell eventually fades as you're now just back to being topless, running through the room.
Right.
As you kind of make your way, while that was happening, people started dispersing through the room. So as you kind of get back upstairs, you also run into Hespia. You see this kind of... did I write down how tall she was? I can't remember in my brain. She was tall or short?
Really tall, right? Like...
What's that, tall? Yeah, you see this fairly tall, like she kind of is like over 6 foot. Grey feathered, but again with like streaks of green and quite these bright colour things. And she just, very similar to what happened inside, just looks you up and down and just like, and then just walks off. You actually watch as, because on the upper floor, there is a level above it, and you watch as there's like a ladder going up, and she just flaps her way up into this upper space.
She also lives in the attic. Just like...
Now it's important for the for consistency that Chad interprets the as a.
Oh Lord! Chad's gonna die. She's gonna claw your face off.
Yeah, no, just like he interprets that as approval. Just because he sees the world through his own lens.
Yes. Anyway, you go and pull some clothes together and probably get some of your equipment, and you meet Hamish back down on the ground level, and then Hamish takes you down into the basement. Tyler, you're going with, and I think also maybe Gable joins along as well, because
Brass was coming as well, right?
Brass, you're coming.
Yes.
Brass is going, Chunk is going. Like basically, quite a few people, not everyone, but quite a few people end up going this one downstairs. Notably, as you head down into the basement, you see what is kind of a workshop area. You see there are like tool benches and some like basic smithing equipment. But Tyler, you see an extensive alchemist lab is down here, which I know is of an interest of you.
Okay, yes.
But you are taken to a sort of chamber to the side, and there's this big kind of like heavy oaken door. And Baron grabs the sort of the handle of this and just points to you and goes, "Chatty boy, what's your favourite place to fight in?"
All combat arenas are sort of equally viable. If I had to pick a favorite, what's your favorite?
He pulls it back and he's like, I tell you what, the tourney! And he opens the door, and you see that it opens out into what appears to be an exterior space. As you see, like, fields, trees, and there is this kind of, like, dirt sand pit in the center with, like, fences. As you are brought out into what you recognize to be the fields outside of Angel Gate, you see banners that are in the Dawncaster banner, but also the 13 banner, as you walk into what appears to be this kind of, like, outside tournament ground.
Wicked.
Like, welcome to the training room.
Nice.
Is there like wind? Does it feel like it's outside?
There is no wind.
It just looks like okay.
It looks like outside. Like you can't see. You wonder if maybe like the walls have been changed to make it look like there's a horizon or something. But it just seems like you're outside. You cannot see a ceiling. It just seems to go up into a open like blue sky. See a sun, etc.
This is the. I'm trying to remember what it's called in the X-Men.
The danger room.
The danger room. This is the danger room. Chad's gonna be.
Which is why I thought I had a good name for it. Then I realized I didn't put a good name. I just wrote it. It's the training room.
Good. Chad's gonna be slightly lost for words. Chad has seen a fair amount of magic in the last few days, but before that, he's not from a particularly magical place, and he's still kind of like, kind of taken
it's
aback
also
by a lot of
where
these
you
things.
have seen magic. It's been fairly showy, so to speak. Like, there's always been an explosion, or like Pebble was put into a cocoon, or there's like a slug that comes out the ear. This felt very like slick. The door just opened and you're there. There wasn't some like explosion. It wasn't like color. It didn't get. When the manner changed from dilapidated to beautiful, there was kind of this shifting of magic. This just the door opened and you're outside.
And I'm outside.
And like you can't be outside because you're in the basement level of a building. Like this is magic is obviously a thing as well. Not that you've had a lot of exposure to, magic is real. This is a level of magic where you're like having trouble. Your brain is having trouble kind of like aligning this to reality. Like this can't.
Yeah.
What?
Chad is going to. I don't know if I need to roll for this. Chad is going to assume that he's actually just been physically moved.
Yes. Yeah.
And this is like
yeah.
That was a would Chad know like the terminology of like a portal, that type of thing?
Yeah, I mean
we've been.
technically speaking, the word portal comes from doorways. Like that is a portal. So you are familiar with the term portal, and like you've seen Pebble teleport before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you think, you've just been portaled to Dawncaster, to Angel Gate.
Well, I hardly even felt the travel there. This is astonishing. Okay, well, this is exactly how I remember it.
That's a good one, Chatty boy. Just slaps him on the back.
Right, yes. Because we are, of course, physically we are in the...
So in the manor.
Right, yes, good. We're not actually...
This is the training room. The training room could look like whatever you want it to look like. If you want to be battling inside a volcano, it can be a volcano. If you want to battle in a crashing airship in the sky, it can be a crashing airship in the sky. Anything you want. But right now, because of our shared history, I felt the tourney ground was the best to be.
Yes. Well, I look forward to seeing some of these other volcanic excellent training ground. Yeah, Tali, this is where Hamish and I shared at least one childhood memory.
One good childhood memory
Yes.
that you barely remember.
It was like a tournament competition.
Yes. I believe it was not just my family. It was several families all used to come together and have a good old tourney.
From all across Arnhem as well. Like, there would have been Greshkan families here, some probably North Kostrandic families here, some Torn
So Natalie would have
families.
heard about it, probably. Like,
Yeah, maybe. Maybe like you've definitely heard about tournaments. Like whether you heard about this one, you get the concept definitely.
This is the Angel Gate tournament grounds. This is that's uncanny. Yeah. Incredible. Lovely. And so we're going to do some training, some sparring.
Yeah,
here.
as you kind of turn back from door to side, you see that Baron is now in that circle, and he has his spear draw, and he's kind of like doing like kind of proper showy off with like twirls and like swishes with it, which as someone who you know how to fight with a spear, you don't twirl a spear and stuff like that. He's clearly showing off for an audience, and it's also that he knows how to fight with a spear because if he's who you're pretty sure he is, he knows how to fight with a spear. So what he's doing right now is clearly aggrandizing for the sake of like, look at my relic.
In that case, Chad's gonna turn to Brask and Tali, and what was the other person's name?
Gable.
Gonna turn to and just go. I mean, excellent form. You have to agree. It's just incredible.
A little impractical, but
yeah. Brask has no idea what's going on. He thinks he's just dancing.
Yeah.
Charlie does have a question though. Before I assume you're going to spar. That spear, you said it's in your family, right, Hamish or Baron, whichever.
That's right. You see him shouting over his own like shuffling of feet and
Which do you
stuff.
prefer, Baron, Hamish? What's your preferred?
Call me Baron. Everyone does.
Okay. Where did your
Gable,
family?
under his breath, like he insists everyone calls him Baron.
Where did your family get the spear from originally? If you don't mind me asking.
It's been in my family for generations.
Yes, but it came from somewhere, correct? Do you not know the history of your family relic?
No, honestly, I never paid attention when my father told me the history lessons of it.
Quite right. Yeah. Who's got time to listen to history lessons when you can be fighting?
Far too busy fighting.
Oh, could I have a look at it?
Sure.
Before you
He
fight?
just sort of throws it near you. I'm gonna make a tech roll for him.
Oh my god.
Yeah. You just see him just huck this at you. Roll me a dexterity saving throw.
Can I guidance myself?
Not for a saving throw.
Yeah. That's fair. Okay. Oh wait. Well, 11.
11. You were not expecting this. You do not react quickly enough.
Sad.
And you see this just spear thrown like a javelin at you. Does, however, land like an inch in front of your foot. As if very well planned.
It's fine. We don't react. We're poker facing this.
Yeah. You see he continues to just do punches and moves and stuff in the middle of the thing. He's like, I don't know. He's warming up.
He's I care about this.
Yeah.
Because Tali has a glaive, right? Although it's not a spear, it's the same class of weapon, correct?
Kind of. So the spear is shorter than the glaive.
Yep.
But yes.
It's some of the it's a similar.
Yeah, it's similar.
Right. Because this is the magical relic, right? One of Intin's magical relics.
Mm-hmm.
Can I figure out what's the deal? I can cast detect magic. On it.
Yeah, you can either roll Arcana check to hit some obvious things, or detect magic will support that.
Which do I do?
Either or. Up to you. You'll get more information if you do detect magic.
Yeah, let's do that. I don't want to ritual cast it because that's long. Let's just did it.
Pardon me.
Yeah, so she kind of picks it up and says something celestial and sort of.
So did you pick up? So this spear looks like it's entirely made of gold.
Yep.
Which would typically be an impractical material to make a weapon out of, but you pick it up and it feels incredibly light, but also very durable. You can see there are very intricate runes sort of carved into the metalwork, all the way down. They're not like language; they are just arcanic kind of rune symbols.
Do they have a meaning though?
Yes, which I'm going to come to. Okay. So it has various things like. Let me find out what is it called? Yes. Basically, the gist of it is it talks about that the runes imbue this spear with the power of lightning, and various like storm-based abilities. And you can even see within it, the actual relic itself is called the Stormbringer, Stormseeker.
Yeah. Do I get any information on I guess it's School of Magic.
Yeah.
Right, I guess it's
So you can't set magic, that's fine. If you roll me Arcana set with advantage, we'll see if we can delve any more
Yeah.
information out.
Also, if there's anything else magical going around within 30 feet of me, let me know.
Yes, the entire room, but
Yeah, but anything specific in that room.
I know.
17.
17. So yeah, you pick up the entire room.
That's for the spear.
Yeah. No, that's fine. I was just saying you pick up the entire room and do detect magic and try to figure out if there's anything else.
Gable? Or...
Gable will probably have some magical like trinkets on him, nothing too powerful. The spell book probably emanate a certain amount of magic by itself. Chunk, very magical, as they are an animate statue. Which Chunk is interesting. You kind of see almost like there's this kind of shape, like a silhouette of like a person within the statue. You can kind of almost make out the sort of like the soul that is trapped within that statue. But the spirit itself for 17. You kind of learn that the spirit itself is more of a conduit for magic. The spirit is a very well crafted thing, it's very intricately runed, but the actual source of all the magic comes from the gemstone which is inlaid in its handle. So, like a lot of like long staffed weapons, it has a proper like head at the top, but then it has a secondary, slightly smaller blade at the base.
Yeah.
And embedded into that base is this kind of yellow coloured gemstone, which is put into that. And kind of on inspection, it reminds you a lot of the blue gemstone that is embedded into Christina's necklace.
Yeah.
So you get the impression that the Genesis relics are almost like housings for these gemstones, and the gemstones themselves are the actual magical, the things that were created by Intin, and then maybe mortals or maybe gods, but someone has then harnessed that power into a device.
Yeah.
That creates the relics.
Interesting. And then, does it give any info on like? Because so we know like Christina's amulet, Defo, has very unique powers, like the shaping power. Also, she can go into the locket and stuff. Yes. Does Harley get a sense of what this might have? The
sense you get is various lightning-based abilities.
So it's just like you use it does sparks.
Yeah.
That's kind of it. There's nothing like
Sparks.
pretty. Yeah.
Yes. Like from the, I don't know if Ty was watching, but the battle that happened the few, when you were there, you saw he threw it and it turned into a lightning bolt, and you saw that it returned to his hand.
Yes.
After.
Okay. Tali will relay this information to whoever is interested in the room.
Yeah.
As she's sort of looking over.
It's not that impressive that it went back to his hand. Weapons do that.
Yeah.
I like the idea of Brass throwing the pistol he's got and just like, it's broken.
Yeah. If the bullets don't come back, find more. I completely.
That's also a good point. Just to remind everyone, Brass has got a gun these days.
Okay.
Brass got a gun, yeah.
He picked up a gun when you were, I think, the Messer's Basin. He hasn't used it yet. So just everyone be aware at some point, Brass will pull a gun out.
Good.
Anyway, after you inspecting for what, Henry's like, right, you all done looking at it?
Yes.
As you say that, they say yes, you feel a tug, and the spear just flies back to his hand. It just grabs it. Good. All right, Cherry boy, do you want to spar?
Yeah. Let's do a spar. Now Chad has brought down his own sword and shield.
You want my glaive?
Could he also? Oh, possibly. If Tali's going to offer the glaive, I was also going to say, could we say that Chad brought down the Silverite greatsword?
Definitely should have. Yes.
Yeah.
Very nice. So you brought down a little arsenal between you. Like, I like that. Someone of mine here pulling your weapons together. Like, oh, what would I pick?
Chad's gonna. Before we spar, you've got very fine spear. Excellent stuff. Have you ever seen anything quite like this? And gonna pull out the Silverite greatsword. and sort of present that.
You see that it just kind of catches his attention, and he actually stops twirling the bloody staff around, a spear around, and kind of comes over and looks at it like, "Oh, step in."
Charlie's on like hook mode.
Yeah.
Like she's just poised to explain.
He's staring at us like, "Very fancy piece you got there." Clearly knows the fuck all about it. But Gable, she's like, "Is that silverite?"
Yep.
Wait, I've never seen so much of it. Like, how did you?
Good, isn't it? Been in my family for generations as well. Yeah. Family heirlooms. Yeah.
Out of interest, does the manor have welding capabilities, blacksmithing equipment?
There was some basic forge stuff, yeah.
Could we
when
melt
you-
it down and reforge it into something?
Possibly.
Ooh, best
It
kind.
looked unused. You'd have to try and find someone who is knowledgeable in that sort of thing. But potentially, the equipment seemed like it was in place. You're just not sure if you have the expertise to do it.
Yeah.
But you can ask.
We were thinking about melting it down to make a couple.
You were indeed.
Yeah. Like a few things.
Yeah, Baron eats all this other like, "It's a fine piece. Your family should be proud."
Yep. We are. We are.
Good.
Oh my God.
Right,
So
enough talking
how-
about weapons. Let's start swinging them, shall we?
How do you want to do this? Your spear versus greatsword, or I normally go for sword and shield, or yeah, are we
Whatever you want. It's just a.
symmetrical or asymmetrical? What's the?
It's always good to mix things up a little bit. How about you take the sword and shield, and I'll bring the spear.
Absolute sounds excellent. Tali, take this.
Well, she yes, immediately.
yeah.
She just.
Yeah.
It's worth mentioning, Baron also has a shield, by the way. I haven't really talked about it too much, but he also brings out a shield which has the Dawncaster crest on it. So he's a shield and spear fighter typically.
Excellent.
I kind of in like a kind of outward view, he cuts the silhouette a little bit of like a Spartan warrior, a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm
picturing Thingy and Hector in Troy.
Yes. There's a bit of that going on. Although it's still a bit more,
Achilles.
yes,
Thingy.
thingy. It is still though a bit more like kind of European medieval. Like it is armor. Like he's not wearing like the kind of, the dresses kind of thing you tend to see in the. Like he's still wearing. He's still outfitted for the cold European weather, but the actual equipment style is very similar to that. Yeah, and
So, as per our father's last spar, I suppose.
is it spar or a competition?
Well, what's the difference?
I don't know what you think. Yeah, so what I'm going to ask is, because we don't really have enough time to do like a proper like duel between you, what does Chad want to get out of this? Like, are you just doing this to impress him? Are you doing this to try and learn more about like the combat capabilities of that weapon? What are you trying to get out of it? Do you have enough time that you can spend sparring him with a goal in mind?
Kind of both.
Okay.
It's he's he wants to sort of, in as much as he's got a very difficult sort of relationship currently with the idea of his father, there's definitely a kind of like a right. Well, okay. Well, this I've got to maintain the reputation of my family.
I think Chad's still proud of his family. You're just not quite sure you're like your dad right now. So
And also he's still a bit bruised from earlier, ego wise. But also it is a very intriguing thing. He doesn't he obviously understands how to use a spear, but this is a very different type of spear. Chad might also at some point, depending on how things go, ask to have a go with it. Whether or not that's something that Baron would be open to.
Okay,
but yeah,
we're game this out in a few rolls, and let's start with I want for the general competition between you another athletics check.
Oh dear, 12.
Well, he rolled a natural 1. So you see, I think coming off the humiliation of earlier, you bring a ferocity to this fight that he wasn't expecting, and you do kind of put him on the back foot a bit. He basically makes him say, with a spear like a glaive, the optimal point is you should be keeping enemies at range.
Yep.
He kind of goes, oh, this is a friendly spar a little bit, and he kind of lets you close the gap a bit too much.
Yeah.
And then once you're on top of him, he struggles to kind of get the spear in a position where actually it's a lot of use to him. So yes, you successfully spar with him, but you basically dominate the fighting. Although he gets a few hits in here and there, you are able to sort of stand your ground and kind of prove to him that you are a warrior of equal, if not better, footing than he. So you win his respect in that regard. Now, for the second thing, roll me, let's call it, I'll let you do perception or insight with advantage. And this is to sort of see what you pick up on how the weapon itself works.
Insight. Well, the first one's a natural 20, so I can't do any better than that.
That's fine. So as you're kind of fighting, like, you do intentionally let a few hits get in just so you can kind of see what the weapon does. This is clearly a very magically charged weapon. The few times it does hit you, you feel this jolt of electricity kind of run through you. To put it in mechanical terms, when he hits with the spear, he also does 2d6 lightning damage on every hit.
Oh wow!
Just by
That's
default.
like a lot.
Cool.
Yeah. You've obviously also seen him use the fact that he can throw it and combat, and when he chucks it, it turns into a lightning bolt that he can then summon back to himself. So you start to pick up on those things. In addition, not that it really, I don't know how this lands on in Chad's mind, but it's a magic weapon, so it obviously cuts through magical defenses. But that doesn't really. I mean, you just aware these weapons are naturally sharp.
I imagine it probably does. It probably in places where it hits the actual scenery, it possibly goes through the illusion.
Yeah, things like that.
In places, and also does leaves gaps that have to heal themselves, and
things like maybe what would have been a glancing blow feels like it cuts deeper than you were expecting, and things like that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that kind of it kind of gives you the awareness that this is not just a spear he's wielding.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Was there a third thing?
Not this one isn't about the weapon, but just him in particular. He fights in a very defensive stance. So he has a reaction called parrying, which is if he wants to, he can add 3 to his armor class on it when someone hits him with an attack. So you're aware that he's very defensive, very good at both with a shield, but also he'll knock a weapon down with a spear to kind of parry weapons parry attacks out of the way.
Chad's going to be very complimentary about all these things as he realizes them. You're absolutely outstanding defense, sir. Clearly, you've been trained exceptionally well, and that weapon of yours is really quite something.
The other thing I'll say, because he got a natural 1, in case it ever becomes relevant, he has an armor class of 17 with his armor and his shield.
Right.
Just in case it ever becomes relevant. His armor class is 17. So that means he can make his armor class 21 with his parry ability.
Ooh. Yeah. That's a good ability.
20, sorry. He gets plus 3, so 20.
Plus 3.
It's a bit unexpected from someone so cocky, but
yeah,
it's good.
And I imagine that's a sort of a sign of how different their houses are, the fact the families and just the ethoses of it. Whereas the Vertines are very historically conquering and aggressive, and clearly he's the Dawncasters, or at least through him, the Dawncasters are giving an impression of being much more obviously defensive.
Well, yeah, the whole thing is
plays out on a larger scale.
I think it does, because the whole family they are built around a fort defending Brattonshire from the unnatural forces that come out of the Eremos Waste. So they are a naturally defensive people. So doing that.
Yep.
That's cool.
Nice how the mechanics I wrote reinforce the lore that I also wrote without joining the two of them. That's nice.
Yeah.
So you spent time doing this, and the rest of you guys who are watching obviously observe this as it happens. Tyler, is there anything you wanted to get out of this? Because you obviously...
just mostly she was trying to understand the capabilities of the weapon, because she's interested in it because of the relic.
Yeah.
But she also, while they're watching, so she will sit with Gable and she will ask, do you know anyone here who is a blacksmith? Who can forge weapons?
And he just points to Chunk. Chunk is very good at most sort of artistry. He's our alchemist and he's also a blacksmith. Yeah, we have to kind of work together. Like Chunk understands the formulas better than I do, but I have to use my hands because Chunk's got big stone hands and will break the tiny glass things. So we work together. So the two of us, we could do alchemy stuff. But any blacksmithing, Chunk's your statue.
Has he worked with magical weapons before much?
Gabe will just look up towards Chunk and you watch his Chunk.
Can you work with that?
Just sort of shrugs.
Okay.
One second. Well, I don't know if it's time for context, but because you didn't want to form it into something else, like for like a few sessions already, no? Since we found it.
You've been discussing breaking into two weapons for a long time.
That's it. Yeah.
Not sure if it will become a less. Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, alchemy. Yeah, would be
one thing I would say. Because I'm pretty sure you rolled on this a long time ago. The Silverite Blade, it is magical in a kind of roundabout sense. It's not an enchanted weapon.
It's the metal.
The actual metal is magical, so you don't think there's a concern. Like you're not sure if you were to try and reforge the Stormbringer. You don't know what that would. Stormseeker. You don't know what that would do. It might break the enchantment or something, or not. Something where the metal is inherently magical. You would imagine it's probably less of a risk in that sense.
Maybe it's
in theory you could make a fork out of it. It probably still would be magical.
Mate, that'd be
stabbing all of like evil people with a fork.
My Silverite spoon.
Oh lord. Okay, that's fine. And you tell me about. I do. We have a bit of a situation, an alchemy situation. A friend of ours is sick with the grey bark. I don't know if you've heard of it.
No, I don't know what that is.
Disease. People get grey on their skin when they're exposed to ichor.
Yeah, I think I'd heard a bit about that. I'd not heard that name though. You remember, Tana, that name is what Splint was calling it?
Oh,
like a proposed name?
You know.
I've not really heard a name. It's just something that happens to people.
Yeah. Well, our friend is suffering with it, and we have remnants of some research of a possible cure, but Tali is not an alchemist, so if you wouldn't mind lending a hand, just
I'm more than happy to help. Kind of nice to have someone who's interested in these sort of things to talk to. Honest. Yeah, you're quite aware that it seems like Gable was a little bit alone in like Chunk. Obviously, he's interested in these things, but Chunk can't talk. Then you have Baron, Hespia, and Raz, who clearly are not interested in sort of the more magical pursuits.
Yeah, well, I like learning magic things. So
okay.
Yeah, I don't know when you're free. You know,
you can go now if you want. If there's anything, if you're ready to do stuff.
I mean, I could bring stuff down.
Sure. Yeah. Well, you go do that. We'll go back into. Oh, we'll get going. Chunk, you okay to do that? You see, Chunk just gives a thumbs up.
Yeah.
Before she leaves, she'll be like, "By the way, you're Hespia, right? The other lady with. Does she? Oh, I tried to say good morning. She was a little
She talks when she wants to.
Oh.
She is capable of it. She just doesn't.
Is there a best
like
way
it? I think.
To engage her in conversation.
Wait until she deems you worthy to talk to.
I can't think. Yeah, I mean, Pebble would, but oh my god.
Tali's just visibly confused. Okay. Fine.
There's not much you can do to make her do anything. Honestly, she'll come to you when she wants to.
Okay, just thought if we're gonna have to work together, it might be, advantageous to be able to talk to each other. But
maybe keep trying. I've given up.
Oh.
Okay, I'll go get the alchemy.
Mm-hmm.
So you head back. As you turn around, you do notice in the middle of this field that you're apparently in, there is just a doorway still there. So you
Right.
kind of exit back through the doorway, and you're back in the basement of Morgrave Manor. You head up to get the stuff you need, and you watch as Gable and Chunk kind of start prepping things in the alchemy space to do whatever you want. Pebble and Christina, what have you guys been up to while various sparrings and stuff is going on?
I think I've probably gone to the library.
Okay.
Nice.
Have just a browse, see what
Yeah.
there is to see.
So you head to essentially the east wing of the ground floor, and you find this large library space. There is just tall bookcases covering every single wall. Yeah, you find a library. There is it stretches all the way to another set of windows and bay doors which lead out into the gardens where you've seen before. And then on the southern side of this room, there is a doorway which it probably would be labelled, is labelled as Madame Morgrave, the Madam's office. That's what it's called.
Easy for you to say.
I know, right?
I think Pebble might have gone searching for magic-related books as well.
Okay, so you both end up in the library together.
Yeah.
And it's very peaceful in this library. You can hear what sounds like the faint sounds of like music, like a violin playing, coming from Madame Morgrave's office. Sounds like maybe she's playing the violin or something from within there. Yeah, you find yourselves in the library. Is there anything in particular you're looking for, the two of you?
That's a very good question because I didn't think this.
You can just be browsing, like you can almost like hoping you find something. Pebble. Like you don't have to have a purpose behind it.
You know what? Pebble is gonna look for hobgoblin related stuff.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Okay. And Christina?
Can you remind me, Madame Morgrave, the relative?
Yeah, so she's your great aunt apparently. So your grandmother's sister.
Right, I'm gonna knock on.
On her door.
Yeah.
Okay. So you knock on her door. A moment you hear after a moment you hear a voice from within go, "Come in, it's open."
Oh, I'm gonna go in.
You turn the handle and open the door, and as you do, what's interesting is that you don't see anyone playing the violin here, and you open the door and the music just needs to stop.
Oh.
And then you close the door again, and you can hear the music from your point of view now coming from the other room.
Oh.
And what you become aware of, Christina, is that the door itself seems to have music like within it.
Oh, neat.
And you think this might be to prevent sound from escaping from either room. So like she can have private conversations in here and it cannot be heard in the library. And then vice versa.
That's smart.
So ask. So did you program it to do violin?
Yes, I find the violin quite soothing, but if there's any other instrument you want, I can change it.
No, I'm sure anything I would choose would be far too disruptive.
I don't think that's true, but how can I help?
I start the electronica.
Drum and bass.
Yes.
Lo-fi beats.
Yeah, lo-fi beats to talk to your great aunt to. Save the world to. Lo-fi beats to save the world to.
Great.
Yeah, you can see that she sat behind this large, like heavy, dark wooden desk. You can see that there are various like weird accoutrements around the room. Like this room in particular is the room that makes you most feel like this woman is like kind of like a witch almost. Like it's very well put together and orderly, but there are things like there's just a skull on her desk and things like that, and like there's some like feathers hanging on like a thing by the window. Like there's just some slightly more almost like a culty kind of accoutrement in this room. And you can see on either side of she sits on a large like wooden chair, and you can see carved into the side of there is a small head of a raven and a small head of a wolf on either side of the chair. She's once again drinking a very small cup of coffee.
Yeah. Say that. So have you always known that the locket is in our family? Or like, what did you always know what it was?
Your grandmother knows more about it than I, but yes, from what I understand, that is one of the reasons why she found her way towards what is now South Costrand, I suppose, to try and find it and guard it. Much the same reason why I found myself here, to try and get closer to the Stormseeker.
Would that have been why she married into our family?
No. From what I told your grandmother quite relentlessly that she should not get so closely involved, and she, I think, told me to mind my own business. No, I think she genuinely cared very deeply for your grandfather. Again, much to my protest, but...
She sure shook up the dynamic.
She's wont to do that, my sister. I rather prefer to stay somewhat less involved in matters, but both ways are effective in their own potential, I suppose.
Want to see the locket?
Sure. I've not held it before. I've seen it from afar, as you've been wearing it, but...
Never said hold.
Very, very fair. But if you wouldn't mind approaching so I can see it a little bit clearer, at the very least.
I'm going to hold it out.
Yeah.
It's above the desk.
And she makes a point, she kind of looked a bit closer, but she doesn't lean in too far. Like she's genuinely not trying to be intrusive or anything like that. It is interesting to remark upon a gemstone so perfectly cut. You will find that that is a more remarkable gemstone than any mortal hands have ever made.
Do you have any leads on the other relics?
The lead we have is that our mother wrote a tome of prophecies, and I think within that tome is where we will find information to the whereabouts of the rest, which is stored away in the Labyrinth Librarium, hence our planned trip.
At least we know we're looking for shiny gold things.
You might be onto something there. Though I scattered across the whole of the continent, I would imagine.
A fun fact for you. I can escape into this. And I have a friend.
Yes, I had
Comes out.
heard. That intrigues me. The Stormseeker has no such manifestation. It doesn't seem to form into a familiar of any kind. It is just a static magic object. It sounds like yours has an intelligence to it of its own.
Maybe there's something that's not been unlocked yet.
Perhaps. Yes, it's quite possible these relics will grow in power as their wielders does, or we become aware of more of them, or maybe just time. Potentially, the closer we get to Archimadoon, maybe the more powerful they'll get. It's uncertain at this time. But I do think there's some merit to the possibility that they may grow more powerful with time. I'm mostly interested to see what possibilities they cover. Yours has the ability to say a realm that you can travel to. You can store books. I saw that my sister showed you that. Hamish's one is a weapon, pure and simple. It's there's no realms, no creatures, at least now. So there is a whole chasm between those two realities where everything else might be able to do. I think the possibilities right now seem limitless, and I'd be fascinated to find out what more of them do as and when they are discovered.
Like the mystery?
Oh, I do like a good mystery.
How do I talk to Grandma then? I mean, she's not exactly been transparent about these things. She's been leading me here.
Yes, that is one of your grandmother's quirks, let's call it. She likes to shake things up, but she doesn't like to explain what she's doing particularly. I mean, she is here. I would catch her before she leaves. I think she intends to return to South Costrand in the next couple of days. Hopefully after you head into the labyrinth. I'd capture them. Maybe a personal conversation. I found backing her into a corner has worked well for me in the past. Making it so she can't escape.
Might know something for that. And before I leave you to business, any books you recommend?
It's a very good question. From what I understand, you and the Hobgoblin struggle a little bit to control your magic. That's correct?
Yes.
If you back in the library, there's a section, one of the bookcases on the right-hand wall near the windows. I don't mean this in a I don't mean to presume, but they are the basics of spellcasting. They should help you understand a little bit about how spellcasting works, and it may help you. Well, it never hurts to understand the fundamentals. Let's put it that way.
Thank you.
But
Grandma's writing is not great to decipher at the best of times.
she wrote you a book.
He sent me a spell book. I assume I have it on my persons and bring it out.
Yeah, you do. You bring it out. She's like, oh, well, this is quaint. She's like, do you mind if I have a little look?
Yeah.
You kind of just flick through this handwritten spell book, and there is amusement in this woman's face. Like, this is very sweet. I will say this of your grandmother. She clearly cares very deeply for you and all of your family. Whatever her intentions, I assume they would be in your best interest. But again, she likes keeping secrets to her chest, that woman. She slides the book back across the table to you. Give me a second. The doorbell just rang. Have a moment.
No.
The suspense.
Someone's trying to come into the office.
How's the chat doing?
Yeah, there are probably people watching.
Have we got chat people?
Why is my quad error? Why is my alignment chaotic evil?
Oh no!
Why am I chaotic evil? I'm trying to be a good boy.
Ollie, explain your workings.
It's fine. Are we? Oh yeah. Okay. I thought I didn't switch from the from the close up to the main layout.
To save on my bandwidth, I've not been watching the stream at the same time as playing.
Missing out on all the chat, Will.
I know.
Oh, but
I have to stay in the. I have to just stay in the zone.
Stay
so I
in
can
the,
just
yeah.
stay in the chat zone.
If you click on the three dots at the top of the chat, I think it is, you can pop out the chat and then close the rest of the stream, so it doesn't consume bandwidth, and it's very nice. It's very cool.
You can be in the chat as Chad.
Yes, that's chat. Yeah, that's actually a good
further
thing.
in the zone.
I can chat along with everyone.
Yes.
Where everyone can chat along with me.
Can we have like nicknames in the Twitch chat? That'd be.
I don't think. I'm not
super
sure you
nice.
can. Your name.
Oh yeah, Quad Error has just discovered deep secret of the internet. Thanks to me. Yeah.
What was that?
He was saying, Quad Error. They were saying that the door could play Despacito instead of violin or drum and bass or something like that, and I was like, dude, check Despacito 2 after the stream ends, which they
immediately did, I'm assuming.
Yeah, they immediately did. It's very soothing and nice. Did I hear a cat?
Is that Bruce?
Was that a cat?
Bruce wants to be on the stream.
Hey.
Come on,
Yes.
Bruce.
Have the Bruce
Bruce.
interlude.
Show him.
Oh, the suspense is real.
Cat interlude.
Right, I'm back.
No, we have to
Oh,
have a cat
wait.
interlude.
Cat interlude.
Oh, Kitty!
Hello.
Oh, Bruce.
Oh, so
Hey,
cute.
Bruce.
Hey, Bruce. Na, na, na.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Where are
Kill him,
cats?
leave immediately.
I don't know. They're somewhere.
Okay.
Chilling.
Cool. Let's
Anyway.
go back to Madame Morgrave and Christina.
Yes. So, where we leave off, she was looking at the book. So yeah, she hands the book back to you and goes, it's very evident that she cares deeply for you.
Then I proceed to leave and go look at books.
Yes. So while you've been in there,
Bella.
Pebble, you're sort of hunting around for a book about hobgoblins. Roll me investigation check, but roll it with advantage, and I'll explain why in a second.
Alright. Investigation. With advantage. Oh, I rolled. Okay, well, whatever. Can I roll another one? Yeah. So I did a 6 and an 18.
18, amazing. So you spend a bit of time looking at it. You're not someone who's found yourself in libraries commonly before, let's say. So you're not really sure how to kind of use it. You're not really sure how they're set up. You're not sure how they're organized. You're kind of just like vaguely looking around, trying to find this book. And I imagine like
I'm gonna try to call it before you do. Just feeling cocky today. I'm sorry. Is this gonna be a tisk moment? Anyway, proceed.
You're on the right lines, but not quite right.
Damn it.
That was a good point. Tisk is there kind of like helping you look, and Tisk seems like they don't really like, maybe over here. Then you feel a bump at your leg, and you look down and you see Spud holding a book. It's like,
Oh, how did Spud? We left Spud. How
you
did
haven't seen Spud for a
get
little while.
here?
You haven't seen Spud since you were coming to Morgrave Manor. Spud is there.
Neat. Well, because Spud was one of the agents of Madame Morgrave. That's nice.
Spud was summoned by Magmore.
Fantastic.
But yeah, you see Spud like pushing a book into your leg, and you can see vaguely from where he's holding it in his mouth. This is a book on it's sort of like fairy tales and mythical creatures. Like,
Thank you.
I assume, would you have your speak animals active at this point?
I mean, as soon as I notice that Spud is there, I will.
That's fair.
Totally.
Yeah, it's like this is the one you were looking for, right?
Oh,
I found
thank
it
you
for you.
very much. I shake it a little bit to get
Yeah.
this lover off.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like,
And I just make my way. I guess there's tables.
yeah, there's tables and chairs and stuff around. You see his Spud kind of follows you around, his tail wagging. He's like, so you made it to the manor then? Good, good.
Yes. Sorry. I mean, sorry we left you behind, but we didn't know what we were getting into. So, yeah.
We didn't leave them behind. They went ahead.
No. Okay, sorry. Yeah. I was very strange because
Yeah.
I was like, why would we leave in?
No, they
behind
went
if
ahead.
We knew that we were going to Madame Morgrave. I was like, oh, just trying to.
As you kind of walk towards the table, you see standing on the table is a raven as well. It's like, good, you finally arrived. It's very good.
You too. Great. to
Fortunately,
see.
we are a pair, and it is better when we are together, because otherwise this one goes and wanders off places.
Yeah, and I assume, has more sensitivity towards people who they are trying to persuade than you do. Anyway,
It does have its uses, yes. Spud is... Scrim is definitely more personable than I.
yeah, I could gather. Anyway, so I opened the book.
Yep. What in particular are you trying to learn about hobgoblins?
I don't know what. I don't know. I honestly don't know.
That's fine. So we'll just recap some stuff, because I don't think it was you who did the history chat. I think it might be Tali. So what you learn of hobgoblins is hobgoblins they're essentially like an offshoot of goblins, in that goblins there's a lot of myth about where goblins come from. The most prominent of which tends to be children who go play in the woods and get lost the story is that they become
Just
goblins.
like me.
Potentially.
One
but
sec. Have we
so that's-
established if I've been a hobgoblin all this time but no one noticed? Or what happened when we established that I
vaguely.
was a hobgoblin?
So,
what was that?
let's touch on that point first then. So you obviously had the whole cocoon moment, you became a hobgoblin after that. But when you were in the cocoon, you had a dream which you think might have been some memories of you playing in the woods with your friends, and that memory kind of clarified, and those friends were goblins.
Okay.
So it's still vague, and obviously you definitely have memories of being a human child and a human boy in the farming village you grew up in. So there's kind of some things going on here, but the memories of playing with the goblin children, that feels like a younger memory than you being in the town.
That's exactly what I was gonna ask. Yeah. Okay. Fair.
But yeah, back to the thing about though, you learn that goblins they're typically thought to be lost children who turn into these kind of little like fey terrors, who basically they're big fucking pranksters. They're goblins they like stealing things, but they also like hiding things and swapping things out and etc. etc. They're not. They can sometimes be aggressive, but usually only when they're pushed to it.
Okay.
So if they're threatened, they can become aggressive, or if someone they're backed in the corner like an animal, they will attack. But they're not inherently aggressive. If you have a village and it lives near a colony of goblins, they tend to be more. It's almost like having a beehive in your house more than it is anything dangerous. But that can be obviously be misconstrued.
Yeah.
Hobgoblins, however, are an offshoot of them. Hobgoblins, the belief is, if a goblin is taken away from its colony, and sorry, taken away is the wrong term. If a classic goblin prank is to swap out a human baby with a goblin.
Oh.
And if that goblin is raised in that human household, they grow into a hobgoblin.
Fair enough. Does the book say anything about appearance and how I might sort of
the appearance of so it talks about how goblins tend to be quite short. They tend to have sort of green skin, these long pointed ears. Hobgoblins, by contrast, are usually a bit taller, a bit lankier, skinnier, and they tend to have reddish skin. Very much the description you see of hobgoblins matches what you currently appear like. However, it talks about within the myth of them being raised by humans, it does suggest that there must be some inherent illusion magic must fall over the hobgoblin for them to be accepted as a human child.
Right.
Because otherwise, if they appear as these red-skinned goblins, why would they be raised by the humans? So it seems that the theories suggest that either a hobgoblin child can inherently disguise itself as a human, or when, as part of the prank, goblins cast a very strong illusion on the hobgoblin to become to look like human.
Okay, that's very interesting.
Philosophers haven't worked out which of the two is true, if anything.
If any. Yeah.
But yeah, so you are starting to get this kind of worrying feeling in the pit of your stomach. You're like, oh no. I might have been a child who was swapped out.
Yeah.
And kind of after you've been spending some time reading this book and then kind of reading fair, that's when Christina, you would merge back into the library and you see Pebble sat in a very big armchair around a table with Spud at his legs and a Creador sat on the table. The Creador sees Christina, very good to see you again.
You too.
The salt. The amount of salt.
I am delighted and relieved that you finally made it to Mulgrave Manor. You didn't pluck me.
Lovely being here. You have a lovely home.
Well, it's not my home. I'm forced to be here.
Forced to be here?
Yes, well, Madame Mulgrave, she bound us. Should I be saying this?
And how does it feel to be bound to something that you didn't choose?
There's a moment. There's that comment hangs in the air for a second. It's like, yes. Anyway,
Have you misbehaved?
No,
You're
no,
not
no.
supposed to be here.
Not to misbehave. No.
Oh,
The
a
eyes of
favour?
the raven turn to the door, and he can looks at the door for a second, knowing that it's Madame Morgrave on the other side. But that music plays as you close the door, and like, one of you two, roll me a persuasion check. I'll probably say Christina because you're the one actively here.
Let's do Christina.
Yeah.
But you can see Creador wants to say something.
Okay, 9.
9. Okay. There's a moment of pause and like, there's clearly a secret here that Creador is tempted to give up, but doesn't quite let go of it. And she goes, let's just say we've come to an agreement with Madame Morgrave that benefits everyone involved.
Including my
Are you
arm.
even a raven?
Well, that is the question, isn't it?
It's the question I asked. Yeah, I've got books to read. I'm sure you've got others to pluck.
Well, I don't.
Oh.
Very well.
You are pedantic.
That is true.
Oh, he admits to
I
it.
think you'll find the Creador is the third most pedantic person in the room.
Well, all I wanted to say was I wanted to wish you welcome to Morgrave Manor, and I was going to say if you needed help finding anything in this vast library, I was going to offer support. But you seem fine on your own, and just flies up onto one of the bookcases. But you catch one thing: there is kind of like a cubby hole on the bookcase, and you watch as the creator flies up into that bookcase, lands, and as they kind of turn around, you watch as they turn it into a statue.
Ah.
Oh.
Bagpuss.
Oh, what?
Adam is trying to remember the deep lore of Bagpuss right now.
Sorry, what?
No, because they're
What
all
is
in the
that?
shop window. Then when the shop closes, they all come alive. Like the mice go into the organ and become part of the organ, then they pop out.
Yeah. It's a Toy Story deal. Maybe something like that. It reminds you though, Christine, you have seen around Morgrave Manor several statues of ravens and wolves, and you obviously know that Spud is apparently a wolf, even though he's a pug. But you have seen him in several places. Like you saw him at the gates. There was one was a raven, one was a wolf. You saw it on the backs of Madame Morgrave's chair. There have been several places around the place that has been these kind of edifices of wolves and ravens.
Cool. We can ask.
Spud, however, just sort of curls up at your feet, Pebble, as you continue to read.
I like him in this shape.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
So, Brask, you obviously were watching the combat. Is there anything you in particular want to do?
Well, the whole time that was happening, Brask was like eager for someone to challenge him. So he's all sort of pent up, and like he was very ready to fight, and he hasn't fought. And now he doesn't exactly know where to put that.
Sure. Yes.
So yeah, I guess because did everyone leave the training room?
So this point, you still have Chad and Baron will still be here, but everyone else has left.
Okay. And are they still just sparring away?
Yeah, they would be at this point.
Okay. Yeah, Brask would probably choose his moment then to just not wait to be invited anymore, and just sort of get between the two of them, almost like catch both weapons and push everyone back and be like, "I'm here."
Oh, good.
You think Baron's like, "Hey, a fancy one then." Do you want to, I'm happy to go a few rounds with you too if you want, Brask.
I mean, I just said I'm here. Let's do this. Like he's like insanely hyped.
Yeah.
The
So
energy.
yes, then you want to? Okay, cool. Just some weird conflict of communication.
Yeah.
It's like he's absolutely fueled up from that giant breakfast. Nothing, had nothing to do with that energy.
in terms of Bra's point of view, like so similar to what I asked Chad earlier, what do you want to get out of this sparring? Is it just an excuse to show off your prowess? Just sport. Okay. Roll an athletics check. Yeah. A bit athletics check versus hero athletics. I'll tell you what, since this has become a 3v, an all 3v3, not kind of, an all for one, Chad also roll an athletics check. I want to see whoever gets the highest athletics check wins this. It's a 3-way conflicted thing. Chad's either won it or really lost it.
I'll let you guys go first.
You go first.
Well, Baron got a 20, a dirty 20. God will. 27.
Brask has a hero token.
Yes.
Yes.
Fuck yeah, he does. Are you going to use it here?
Hell
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
Amazing. So you watch this you let the fight go on a bit, and you kind of see that Chad starts to outmaneuver Baron and kind of puts that, knocks the weapon away from him. And this is your moment to strike. You kind of come up behind Chad and you basically hook your boomerang under his leg and just shoot him all the way up. Chad, you just go arse over tea kettle and just go BAM into the ground. As yes, Brass, you skillfully maneuver your way into disarming and disabling Chad. Chad, you're now laying on the ground with your heavy armor, shield, and weapon, just like
Chad's gonna go. Baron, introduce you to Brask. Have fun, guys.
Amazing. So yeah, you two, Brask and Baron, you keep going. You keep sparring for a little bit longer. Back in the alchemist room, Tali, you bring your stuff down from the upper layers of the manor, and you join Gable and Chunk.
Yeah, she's bringing down everything that she took from Splint's office.
Yes. So Gable gets to work kind of deciphering that.
Yeah, I guess we want to go through it first, see what we have here first to see them.
Yeah. So you weren't able to really take a lot of the equipment because the equipment that much like the alchemist lab had here is quite hard to. But you took the research notes, yeah. Let me just quickly roll for Gable. Yeah, he's good. He starts going through the notes. I'm like, interesting. You kind of like. Troll's blood. Okay. So from what I'm reading of this, it sounds like this person was trying to find a regenerative thing to kind of reverse the effects of the grey mark, he's calling it. Using troll's blood, which I guess that makes sense. Trolls have natural regenerative abilities. What? Do you want to just try and recreate this? I think I have enough here to try and make a similar formula, a potion. We need troll's blood. That's one thing, but
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, actually, so I'll get a question. We had a bunch of did we not we had something from the troll? No, there was because when we went to get the troll, I mean, Tallulah's just.
Come on, Tallulah. What menu have you brought up?
Oh Lord.
Come on, Tallulah.
The cat.
Yeah, the cat just encompassed the whole screen.
Right, I'm gonna move my laptop forward so she can go behind it. Come here, Tallulah. Yes, carry on.
We took. When we went to rescue Boyle, in the warehouse there was a collection of arms or something.
Yes, there
we
was.
We took them, and I believe we did try to drain the blood out of them.
Yep.
In the pub. But I guess we wouldn't have brought any of that with us.
Yeah, so that probably would still be in the basement of the pub.
Oh.
I'd have to assume.
Not sure if Tali would have brought it.
You wouldn't have it with you now, but you'd obviously you obviously, as mentioned, there's some downtime period. You'd have to go get that. So
that's fair. Just okay, fine. Oh really? Charlie will,
Mhm.
will. I mean, we might have some, but at our other residence.
Sure. Come on, Tallulah. Come on. Come on. Come on. Oh, what have you
This
done?
Tallulah's
Tallulah! Come on!
Uh,
Work with me here, please, cat.
oh, she's gone.
Right, okay.
Okay.
What? Okay, there you go. What was I saying?
Wouldn't-
Troll's blood.
yeah,
You have
yeah,
the troll
we
blood. Yes. I was like,
No,
yeah.
not
If
here,
you
though,
can get that and bring here, we can try to the other ingredients. They're fairly common ingredients. We could probably have some of that here. Like we could try and synthesize some of this.
So,
Yeah.
they need troll blood to synthesize it properly,
Yes.
but then it would be like a.
Which we did know
non-
because Splint did tell us that when he was.
Yeah, he used troll's blood, and like so, this would be each solution of this cure needs troll's blood. Like you can't generate that from nothing.
Oh,
This is why I was thinking she might have brought some, but it's fine. We can go back to the pub. Yeah, so
Cool.
yeah, we'll have to go get that.
Yeah.
Do you think, like, is it a fairly straightforward recipe?
It will take maybe a couple of days to be created.
So we'll have to do it after we come back from.
Yeah. Do you know much else about this disease? Like, I can see this person has a cure for it, but I don't know anything about it. Like, this doesn't tell me what this cure does. Like, this is an observation. This is just effectively what he's got here. It's almost like a cookbook. We doesn't know like what it actually does. Like, he's going off like the Splint in his notes has inferences that this would work, but he doesn't necessarily know. Gable is unsure about what this actually is. Essentially, he can follow it.
The disease itself, right? It comes from when people are exposed to ichor for large amounts of time. At least that's one way people get sick. I believe that this doesn't reverse the effects of the disease, but it halts them, because the person who these notes are from, they still had the discoloration of their skin, so they didn't get rid of that, but it didn't get worse for them.
Okay. I mean, maybe I'm getting ahead of it, but should we not be looking for a cure then? If it's only just gonna halt it, like we can do this.
But
Troll's blood is not. I know you have some, but it's not a very accessible material. I'm just wondering if maybe there's something in the library about this, like the disease. Like we have lots of books here.
I mean, that's true. Tali does have a few things to look at in the library. I could definitely go look, because I agree, an accessible cure would be great. I mean, I think the idea was that this was a cure and that it stops it, but it's not. So if there was a substitute for troll's blood, then that absolutely.
Maybe, or if like we discover there's some better cure that uses troll's blood, I wouldn't want to use the only source you have on something. You know what I mean?
I also just want to make sure.
We like put it this way, we can. I think we can do this. This is fine. Which means we can do this anytime, as long as we get that troll's blood, which you have to go get anyway. I just wonder if it's worth learning a bit more about what this is first.
Yeah, it's a good idea. It doesn't hurt to be well informed.
Okay. So Charlie's planning to go to the library.
Yeah, but Tali has like a long list of stuff. So
So yes, what I was going to say is I think not a bit of a sort of open-ended, but I think that may be a good place to end today's session. Is you're heading up to the library, Charlie, to go do some research. Obviously, Pebble and Christina, you're also in the library right now. So, and then Chad and Brass, you've been inspiring. So, what kind of as it was inferred by Yasra is we're going to a period of like sort of a small downtime. There are basically 2 days in which you could do things. So the rest of today and then tomorrow in which you can do things. So if there's anything more you want to research, if you want to head back to the 5 Fellows, there is also the renovations and all 5 Fellows you could address as well. and then after that, it will be time to descend into the Labyrinth Librarian. So we will, we'll leave today's sessions there. So, what I'd recommend to you guys, like for next time we play, if there's anything more you want to research or do, maybe come to the session with those in mind, and then we'll try and go through those, not rapidly, but obviously try and do as much things as we can quickly as possible. Yeah. Ryan, inspiration token. Who do you want to give it to?
I think for the display and competition of toxic masculinity.
Jesus.
It has to be Chad.
Is that what we are rewarding?
Totally.
Yeah. That's what we're rewarding.
Thank you.
Yes.
Chatty boy.
My
God.
pleasure to be
It was
an
incredible.
inspiration to everyone.
It was
Yeah.
amazing.
No, that's all good. So yes, Chad, you have that. Great. Cool. Cool. So yeah. Thank you everyone for watching us today. I hope you enjoyed our session as we kind of navigate our way back into this. But I think we did pretty well. We fairly quickly jumped into some deeper dive stuff, which is excellent. I was kind of worried we spent the whole session trying to remember who we are and what we're doing. So good. I hope you all enjoyed. Obviously, if you did, you can catch us again here in 2 weeks' time, and hopefully we'll be here in 2 weeks' time because I think our weird streak of live stuff getting in the way hopefully is over. So we should be here in 2 weeks' time. If you follow us and turn on notifications, you'll get a reminder, and I'll tell you if we actually are going live. If you want to rewatch our last session, which is a bit a while back now, that is on YouTube, and this episode will be on YouTube next Sunday. You can also find us on Twitter to follow us and see what we're talking about, etc. And that's been it. So we've been Sword and Might, everyone. Thank you very much for coming with us, and we'll talk to you all soon.
Bye.
Bye.